All right. Looks like 40 westbound near Fessler's Lane. Police reporting a crash there. Then in Murfreesboro, we got a crash reported by TDOT. Going to be 24 westbound near Joe B. Jackson Parkway. That'll be exit 84. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, kids. Welcome in. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. We're out and about this Tuesday, June 17, at Kings Bowl in Cool Springs. Would love to see you at some portion of this afternoon. We're here until 8 o'clock. Tonight as we broadcast live from the restaurant side of Kings Bowl. Of course, there's bowling going on behind my back, behind this wall. You can watch, you can listen, and you can participate by stopping by, coming in, saying hello to us, and we would love to see you. It's a big mid-year event on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We like to make up excuses to get together with listeners, and that's our big excuse. It's the middle of the year, and Donald Trump has had roughly 6 months of his second term as President of the United States of America, 149 days to be precise. And so what a good time to get together to celebrate the 6 months that have been, to dissect the pluses, the minuses, the A's, the D's, the F's, if there are any, and every aspect of his second term as President of the United States of America. You're invited to come by, and you're invited to join in. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, 615-737-9986. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do my dead level best to turn over the first hour or so, maybe even hour and a half or 2 hours of the show to you, the listening audience. This is a topic, and by this topic, I mean, of course, the Israeli-Iranian situation that has captivated the thoughts of a lot of the listening audience. A lot of people have opinions, and it has particularly struck a chord with Trump supporters. In as much, look, we kind of know what we're going to get for those who do not support Donald Trump. And, I get it. Anything that Donald Trump is about, anything that Donald Trump supports, you're going to be against. If Donald Trump turns on an issue, you're going to flip on the issue as well. It has become rather predictable how the political left and the mainstream media reacts to the President of the United States of America. What is more interesting to me is how the right, or more broadly Trump supporters, and because I think there are some people that are more in the mushy middle, some libertarians that wouldn't consider themselves conservative, like myself, who have supported Donald Trump in the 10 years that he's been involved in politics. They are a little bit confused, maybe a bit disillusioned as to how Trump has managed the situation with Israel, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to do a bit of resetting this afternoon, and I will invite you to be a part of the conversation. As a matter of fact, I don't want to debate you. I don't want to argue with you. I just want to know your position. Now, that comes with a certain set of criteria when you call the show at 615-737-9986. I do not allow – I have a habit of interrupting individuals when I feel like individuals are presenting false truths or false narratives. I'll try not to do that as best I can because, your narrative, I suppose, is your narrative, but a lot of people have opinions about where we go from here. What I'm fascinated with are the number of people, and this is just, I suppose, human psychology or human nature. If Donald Trump, someone that you've supported for a long time, if everything that he does is in lockstep with how you believe, so if Donald Trump is making moves in the White House consistent with your belief structure, consistent with your core values and your core beliefs, it's very easy to support him because you're in agreement. And it's very easy by extension to say, this guy's got it going on, man. This president gets it. This president makes the right decisions. This president's playing 6D chess. He's ahead of the game. He's 3 moves ahead of everybody else when it comes to his maneuvering and how he's going to do this thing or that thing, whether it's immigration or energy policy or economic policy or tariffs or foreign policy, whatever it might be. Donald Trump's got it going on. Well, it's not so easy to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt when the president might be making moves that you perhaps disagree with or you are disillusioned with in as much as you think he's changing his position. Let me assure you of something on this. Donald Trump has always been America first. Donald Trump went contrary to general Republican and conservative belief with the Iraq War long before so many of these media commentators that claim that they were against Iraq before anybody was against Iraq. Donald Trump was on the front end of that messaging, okay? So Donald Trump has been anti-continuation of war for a long time. He campaigned on the idea of shutting down Afghanistan. He campaigned on the idea of Iraq being a mistake. But he has also said with regularity, and he has not wavered from this, that Iran cannot be allowed to become a nuclear state. That is a red line that Donald Trump has regularly, whether he was on the campaign trail or as president of the United States, has indicated would be a step too far to allow that country to go there. So I don't believe the man has changed his position very much on this issue. And frankly, I don't think that it is a binary choice. I don't think you have to pick one or two, A or B. It doesn't have to be World War III or abandon Israel. And I guess I'm hearing a lot of conversation that lends me to believe that people think that that's the case. And I'm not talking about with Chad or with Chris or with Dan or Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I mean, I don't begrudge anybody else their opinion on the matter. But just generally speaking, as I examine how the conversations have gone, it seems to be that we either have to engage, boots on the ground, World War III, nuclear destruction, hell on earth, turn, rocks into rubble, turn sand into glass, or we just get the hell out of there and leave Israel to their own, or even worse, do something that would upset the apple cart to the point where Israel isn't able to defend itself. I don't think that the proposition has to be one or the other. Frankly, I think what Donald Trump has presented as a middle option is the preferred option. And that is, if we recognize that Iran as a nuclear power is a threat, if we recognize that these are not honest people, these are not honest actors. I said yesterday, I don't know how you feel about it. I don't think there's any question who's wearing the black hat in all of this. It's the people that chant death to America. It's the people that chant death to Israel or death to the Jews or from the river to the sea. It's the people that are radicalized in their religious faith to believe that they are to subjugate the infidel or destroy the infidel. That is a part of their religious dogma that they brought with them to governance in Iran. Where have we lost that narrative? That they are the bad guys and that Allah commands them to kill us, who they think are the bad guys. So I'm not confused on the point that Iran is not a good actor. They are not an honest actor. They never have been an honest actor in any of this. And to the point that Israel has decided that it is time for them to do something about it, I support that. But that doesn't mean that I support American involvement militarily. I don't. Now, that does not mean that America cannot assist. That does not mean that America cannot act as friends with a country that we have been friends with since it became a country in the 1940s. And it certainly doesn't mean that we can't offer some level of material support while Israel ultimately does the dirty work of the Middle East, and that is eliminate a nation that has been a threat within that region of the world since I've been alive. Well, at least since I was 6 years old in 1979 when the Ayatollah took over. So the question that I have for you, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, I'm I'm far more curious about where you are on this. There are as many perspectives as there are listeners on this topic. So I'm far more curious about what you have to say about it, but I do have a few questions that I'll throw out to you for you to chew on. A few basic questions. Is Israel right? Forget American involvement. Forget that we have any stake in the game. Forget that we need a certain level of stability in the Middle East. Otherwise, it's going to create instability here at home. I asked Chad Benson a question during our crossover, and I think it's an important one as well. I mean, what do you think would happen while we're engaging in hypotheticals? What do you think would happen if America just said to hell with the Middle East and got the hell out of there? Said, you know what, we're not going to involve ourselves in the Middle East. We believe that with fracking and with other advancements in fossil fuel technology and fossil fuel, our ability to extract fossil fuels, and with an pro-energy president here at home, that we can exist without oil from that region of the world. We're just going to dissolve all of our interest over there. We're going to say to hell with the Middle East. What do you think would happen in the Middle East? You think it would be better or worse? Is Israel right? I mean, I presume that they are, but that doesn't mean that you would presume that they are. Do you think Israel's right to feel threatened? Do you believe that Israel is our ally? The United States of America. Because if you tell me that Israel is right to understand the threat that they are undergoing, right? Because as we said yesterday, and I would hope that you would agree, that none of this started in a vacuum, and it certainly did not start on October 7th, 2023, but the ceasefire ended on October 7th, 2023, and it wasn't Israel that ended the ceasefire. What is happening in Iran, is a more direct continuation of what they've been doing since then, and that is eliminating the threats around them that want to do them harm, ultimately, that want to destroy them. I believe, and you know what, and I suppose that there are people that perhaps disagree with this premise. I think it's pretty apparent that Israel considers its very existence to be at stake. I mean, when people tell you that they want to destroy you, I would think that you would want to believe them. So that, in and of itself, does not necessitate American involvement in any of this. And I don't suggest that it does. So to state it plainly so that there's no mistake, I do not believe that the United States of America either wants to, needs to, or will become militarily involved that would involve having our troops on the ground in base camps or otherwise in the Middle East. I do believe that America will consider and has considered and already has assisted Israel from an intelligence standpoint as much as they need it, and from a material standpoint as much as they need it. And hell, if they want to borrow a couple of bunker busters, so be it. I described it yesterday, and it was an overly simplistic way of doing so, but I'll say it again. For a long time now, if you consider the old playground analogy, right? We're on the playground together. There's the merry-go-round. There's the monkey bars. There's the jungle gym. And for a long time, Israel and Iran have been messing with one another, and Iran has been picking, and they've been picking, and they've been picking, and they've been picking. And Israel has said, stop it, repeatedly. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And now, finally, Israel has said, you know what? If you want to fight, we're going to fight. Let's fight. America's role in that is just to keep the other kids out of the fight. That is our essential role in this. Israel can handle the rest. And I would ask, then, do we have a problem with that? I feel like, without saying so, that there are many Americans that have a problem with Israel fighting back. To which I say two things. One, Israel fighting back does not automatically mean that America is in a war. Number two, what would you have Israel do as a sovereign country? Just allow slowly but surely factions of Iran, like Hamas ultimately is, like Hezbollah ultimately was. I think they're decimated for the most part. Just allow them to slowly but surely chip away at their people until all of the Jews are gone. And if you say that's their problem, then let them handle their problem. And we'll have no involvement in it. All right, so I've said my piece. That's where we are in terms of the Israeli-Iranian situation. There's a lot more to say about it. Obviously, there have been developments. Donald Trump has been posting on Truth Social quite a bit today. We'll go over all of those. But most importantly, your thoughts on all of this as we turn it over to the telephones here moments from now. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. If you get a busy signal, you can always super text us on the super text line. That is up and running. We're at Kings Bowl. So here's the big thing. We've got a big mid-year review going on. Already some folks have shown up. Thank you for doing so. And we expect Dan Mandis, Chris Hand will be here, Chad Benson will be here, the entire team available for you. As Chad has been telling you, it is Hug Dan Mandis Day. He claims that he doesn't, but he absolutely loves those hugs. And you can hug everybody else, too, if you want to. It's the Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, I love to tell the story. Even before I was a spokesperson for U.S. Pest, I met one of their incredible sales guys. Jesse stopped by my house and invited me to become a customer of U.S. Pest. Love the way that they do business. Love the way that they present themselves. They are simply the best when it comes to pest control in your home, and I invite you to find out more by going over to uspest.com. The purpose of pest control is pretty simple. I mean, one, bugs are icky and creepy, and we don't want those things in our home. Number two, they're a little communist if you think about it. They come in, they don't pay anything, they don't pay rent, they don't contribute to the house, but they do eat your food, and they will take care of your AC or your warmth if you let them, and that's what they want. They want what you've got inside of your home. Whether it's your home or your yard, pest control is important, and they have a 100% money-back guarantee in that regard. Plus, termite protection. Every house in the state of Tennessee is threatened by termites. You need to make sure that you are taken care of. If you don't know if you're threatened, you need to know. 100% money-back guarantee on that as well. So, U.S. Pest, I like to say that J.K. Erica Brister and the team at U.S. Pest, two things. They love the United States of America. They hate bugs. Go to uspest.com or 590-1260. That's 590-1260. It's obviously a sensitive subject, men, but I think it's one that needs to be addressed because there have been so many advancements in what we can do about the loss of intimacy in your relationship. That's the nice way of putting it. The more straightforward way of putting it is this, that if you're experiencing a lack of ability in the bedroom, then Tennessee Men's Clinic wants to see you because they've got a variety of different ways, depending on what your need might be, to assist you in that regard and get you back to an intimate lifestyle with your partner, your loved one, your significant other. All it takes is an appointment with Tennessee Men's Clinic. We're in Cool Springs, and they've got a location right here in Cool Springs. It's their new location that opened up about a year and a half ago. The original location, 2014, in Midtown. At either place, they'll walk you through your initial appointment. You'll get some results that same day. They'll take some blood work, and they'll figure out what's going on with your T levels and whatnot and try to figure out a diagnosis for success to get you back in the game, men. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Or call them at 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for Tennessee Men's Clinic.
President Trump's threat on the supreme leader of Iran, a second arrest in the June 6th shooting here in Middle Tennessee that sent a 1-year-old baby to the hospital. These stories and more at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Not engage in the usual pleasantries at the beginning of the radio show. I probably should have. It's episode 832 of our visits together. I mentioned that it's day 149 of Donald Trump's second term. That's of 1460.5. You can find us on a variety of platforms, of course, 99.7 FM. We're on Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, really anywhere that you stream news, talk, information, music, you can stream us. Of course, we have our own app where you can stream us. And then there's Talk TV, which is up and running, even live from Kings Bowl. Talk TV is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I was just introduced to the YouTube chat table. Ken Weaver, are you familiar with the YouTube chat at all?
I am not.
So the YouTube chat is a crazy place, and there are a lot of crazy people over there. It's like the frat party that goes on every day on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and apparently they're bringing that party on location.
Oh, yeah?
I'm very excited about it. I would have. They're not too wild and crazy yet, but there's only two of them sitting at the table right now. But I just got introduced to one of the ring leaders, so very excited about that. You doing okay this afternoon?
I'm doing good, Brother Murphy. How about you?
I'm just a pirate chasing booty, Ken.
Well,
that's all.
Speaking of frat parties, it sounds like a very lively place there. It sounds like a lot of folks having fun.
Yeah, we're having a good time. We're going to fill this joint before the night is over, and already we've got folks coming in, settling in, and making themselves at home, and we invite you guys to do the same at Kings Bowl in Cool Springs. While we have a couple of minutes before Ken Weaver's newscast, I promised I'd get to as many calls as I can first couple of hours of the show because I want to hear your opinion on these things. I've already run somebody off. 7290 says, I'm out. I can appreciate. So 7290 said, I could be persuaded to listen today if you believe that your nuanced analysis will run contrary to my somewhat informed opinion of your views. And I said, I have no idea. Why don't we find out together? He said, I've got an hour to spare. And then at 3:22 today, he said, I'm out. I can appreciate you saying that the U.S. shouldn't be militarily involved. That, in my opinion, isn't enough. I'll just say this. Israel has a reason to be concerned. But they're the ones with the nukes pointed to a country that the West has spent the better part of a century alienating and destabilizing. I think they have reasons to act in a manner that Israel doesn't appreciate. Warmongering is warmongering, no matter the flag or the uniform. So this guy is apparent. I was right when I characterized you as a warmongerer in my previous conversation. Okay, well, I suppose what you're telling me is that you believe 7290 that Iran is the good actor in this, or at least there's a more neutral approach in your position. I'm glad that you have the ability to listen to different positions. Oh, no, you don't. You've already said you're out. Okay, very good. Let's see. Dave is in the borough, and Dave will be first up on the show today as we welcome your calls on this matter. Dave, we've only got a couple of minutes before the news, but I'm going to give it to you, my friend. What's on your mind?
Well, okay, I just want to talk about Iran being more of a threat and more of Iran is no pushover. And if you go back and look in the history, you'll see that they've been, since they came into power, they've been doing all kinds of things in terms of
You there, Dave?
well, anyway, let me tell you this. If you go back and look at Joint Forces Quarterly, clear back to the 80s, you're going to see the magazine, almost every issue talks about the threat of Iran. And Iran's no pushover. They've got a lot of troops. They've got some pretty good equipment, and they've been in a lot of battles. But they don't have an air force to speak of, and we already have folks over there. Okay, not in Iran specifically. We might have some in Iran though, because Special Forces operate in the gray space in a multi-domain type of battlefield, and they're always going places, preparing the way for our ground forces if that should ever happen. But I'm telling you right now, Iran, we should not go to war with Iran, but if it's up to Israel, they have every right to do it, and I think they have their right to feel that Iran is a clear and present danger to them.
All right.
And
I'm hearing you.
Back them up because they are the only democracy in that area. They have a monument to JFK, so they love America, and they love what we stand for. And
yeah, I don't know that, Dave. I appreciate you. I've got to run over to the newscast, but thank you for the call today, and it's a great way to start off the conversation. We'll have more calls coming up right after the newscast on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. President Trump on Truth Social threatening the life of Iran's supreme leader. It reads, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Unconditional surrender. Israel and Iran continue to attack each other. That's what Al Jazeera says it confirmed to be an Iranian missile strike near Israeli intelligence buildings near Tel Aviv. Right now in Middle Tennessee, a second arrest in the June 6th shooting in Spring Hill that sent a 1-year-old baby to the hospital. Police say they arrested 18-year-old Latavius Lee in Clarksville. Investigators say Lee and a 17-year-old who was arrested 4 days ago were shooting at each other over a drug deal that went awry. Several homes were struck by stray bullets, one of which struck the baby who was sleeping in one of those homes. Police say there could be more charges coming. Here in Nashville, Channel 4's Dryden Quigley on the kind of testimony during day 2 of Shaquille Taylor's competency hearing for the death of Jillian Ludwig, struck by a stray bullet while out for a jog in 2023.
It's been an emotional day because we have to see some graphic testimony, some videos of Jillian being shot, and understandably that was very difficult for everyone, including her family, to sit through.
Not long before Jillian was killed, Taylor had been set free after a doctor testified he was incompetent to stand trial for a separate shooting, but not incompetent enough to be sent to a mental health facility. So they let him go. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. In Murfreesboro, we got a crash blocking the right shoulder, 24 westbound before Joe B. Jackson Parkway. That's going to be exit 84. Then in Nashville, we got a stalled vehicle partially blocking the left lane of 40 eastbound at exit 205. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, folks. It's Matt Murphy for Safe House. And the Nashville Safe House is your one-stop shop for all things safes in this community, not just in Nashville, Tennessee, but all across the Southeast. And really, I would put them against any other safe shop in the United States of America. Nashville Safe House has over 180 safes on display. It's like a safe maze in their showroom space. And then they have almost 400 safes in their warehouse. Bottom line is this: they have something for every budget. They have something for every price point. They have something for every customer, whether it's Browning, Fort Knox, Champion, Superior, Rhino, you name it, they've got it in Nashville Safe House. They're located just across the street from City Cemetery on 4th Avenue South, online at NashvilleSafeHouse.com. Go see Mark and his team, and never forget, never any sales tax on gun safes at Nashville Safe House. They've got tornado shelters there. You need to see that. And a professional delivery crew hired by Nashville Safe House will deliver your safe. They don't let those third-party crackheads deliver your safe. NashvilleSafeHouse.com or on 4th Avenue South in Nashville. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Yeah, that was Matt Murphy, and now it's Matt Murphy after Matt Murphy. That guy sounded good. It's the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Let me talk to you about them for a second because, I made the switch, and I invite you to make the switch as well. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley, they are incredible at what they do. And what they do, they identify pain, and they figure out ways to alleviate your pain without having to resort to pills or to surgery. That's the bottom line. And, they tried 34 times to get the President of the United States with 34 felonies, but what we got was the big 47 as a result. And we're rolling with the American people with a $34 presidential special. Get your consultation, x-rays if needed, and your first treatment for just $34 at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Find out more by going to painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com, or give them a call today and schedule that appointment. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009. That's 246-5009, or online at painisbad.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So the first hour or so, I'm inviting you to offer your opinion on where we are regarding American involvement in the conflict between Iran and Israel. Really, as I've said, I believe that this shooting war started on October 7th of 2023. It is a continuation of that. If you understand that Hamas and Hezbollah are almost exclusively funded through Iran, then I think you get an understanding of how they were able to do what they were able to do, how they ultimately are proxies of the greatest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, Iran, and how Israel believes that the threat is so great and grave in terms of their possible nuclear capabilities that they are willing to take them out. I'm interested in the number of people that suggest that this is somehow drawing America into war. It doesn't have to. And I think we have a president that has the ability to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, we can help you materially. We can do the things necessary to help a friend in that region, but we're not going to put boots on the ground for you nor do we believe that it is a great enough threat to the United States of America that we should do that for us. What say you? Alan is online, too. Alan, you're on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on?
Hey, Matt, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. Hey, there's a facet of this that I don't hear brought up very much. And
Alan, hold on just a second. Jackson, can you give me a little more of the caller? Because I cannot. I'm having a hard time hearing him. Thank you.
Testing,
You there,
1,
Alan?
2. Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, no, I got you.
All right. There's a cultural difference between the Eastern and the Western cultures that I think should be brought up. The Iranians, the Chinese, several other factors, they think generationally. We want to do something immediately. They're quite happy planting a seed now that will take 20, 30 years to develop. If we're going to stop Iran from ever getting a nuclear weapon, there has to be an ideological change, not just a regime change. If you replace one extremist with another extremist, still have an extremist. And until they drop the whole Israel must die, we can't trust that they won't try to build a nuclear weapon. Keep in mind also that they refer to Israel as the little Satan, and the United States is the big Satan, great Satan. Although they're not a direct threat to us right now, if we don't stop their ability to build a nuclear weapon, sooner or later they will. And I'm reminded of the words of Thomas Paine, and I'll have to paraphrase. I don't want trouble, but if there must be trouble, let it come in my day so that my children may know peace. I'm not suggesting we have to put boots on the ground, but if that's what it takes to ensure that they cannot develop a nuclear weapon, we can't shy away from that. The costs are too great. Chris Hand had a caller last week that said something about he compared modern-day Iran to Germany in World War II, and Chris rebuked that. I want to remind everybody that the Germany in 1939 was not the same Germany that existed in 1929 or 1919, and they were able to build up quite an arsenal right under our noses, and we allowed it to happen. Europe allowed it to happen, and we saw how that worked out. We can't afford to allow Iran to grow that strong if they still maintain the death to America, death to Israel, death to everybody who's not us ideology. See where I'm going?
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't think we're disagreeing, but I do not see that the Iranian government has a position of strength right now outside of their attempts to become nuclear. I mean, that is kind of the golden calf for them. I mean, they have tremendous economic struggles right now, and they don't really have any proxies left in the region. They don't have any key allies left in the region. I mean, the Assad regime in Syria has collapsed. Hezbollah collapsed in Lebanon. Hamas in Gaza gone. So it's kind of left them isolated. And based on the sanctions that do exist, they don't really have a way to create an economy that could pose a threat to the United States of America outside of their nuclear ambitions. So I do think if you strike at the heart of their nuclear ambitions and set them back 25 years, then perhaps you can engage in a certain level of diplomacy. I appreciate the call, though. I appreciate the thoughts. Thank you, Alan, for it. We'll get to Don next up in Estelle Springs. Don, thank you for the call. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
I'm great.
Well, first of all, if you take Iran's nuclear ambitions out of it, in my opinion, I think Israel is very justified in what they're doing. They, like you said earlier, they've been picked on for the better part of 50 years by them and their proxies. They've made it clear, death to Israel, death to the U.S. So, yeah, I think they're very justified in what they're doing. Hopefully they'll go all the way, in my opinion. Go ahead and take the dude out, man. Take the supreme leader out, in my opinion, and come what may. I don't think that we can have a worse government than what they have now. And as far as the U.S. being involved, I don't think we have to. I think Israel can handle it now. They've done a pretty good job in the last, 4 or 5 days. I think they keep going for a couple of weeks, and the problem's probably going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, the key to the United States of America's involvement, I think, is in getting to that core nuclear facility that's apparently some 400 feet or thereabouts below ground. The best media reports that I can find indicate that Israel doesn't have the technology or the ability militarily to get to that facility without assistance from the United States of America, and we should just give them that assistance and be done with it. And thank you for the call. I appreciate you very much, Don. I don't understand necessarily. The media in the United States wants to. Well, we're in the war. We're not in the war, and the Drudge Report, which I rarely go to anymore, had the headline, United States of America at war. Why are we pussyfooting around this? Of course, we're going to support Israel against Iran. Of course, we're going to offer them material and militaristic support. That doesn't mean that we're going to send troops over there. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be one or the other. We're all the way out or we're all the way in. We're going to support our allies and our friends. I don't think there's any mistaking the fact that between the two, we choose Israel. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are commenting on this that couldn't give a damn about Israel and, frankly, have an opinion that is less than favorable of Israel, and they don't want to say so in their commentary. But I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of undertones of to hell with Israel in commentary that I listen that ultimately questions America's involvement in all of this. Let's see. Lenny is next up. Lenny, what's going on in your world, brother? How are you?
Hey, Matt. Hey, how you doing, Matt?
I'm well.
I've got something for you here. It's pretty controversial, though. I believe that our involvement in this war will be unavoidable because the Israelis control the Epstein files and have had the Epstein files, which are going to control a lot of politicians. And so the politicians in America are going to do what the Israelis want. And I hate to say that, but that's what I think is going on. The Israelis, certainly we're working with Epstein. And certainly Epstein, those files didn't stay in Epstein's server. They went right to the Israeli government.
So you don't think that anyone within the American government ever had their hands on them?
Oh, I think there's copies, digital files. They can be sent immediately to the cloud, immediately sent off. They're not going to be stored on his computer. That's the only place they are. That's a pipe dream. The bottom line is, those files aren't released for a reason. It's going to expose a lot of people, and the people who control them are going to control those people, the other people, the politicians. And so the politicians who are compromised are going to be in a situation where they're going to do what the Israelis say. Unfortunately, now I love Israel. I love the people. My brother's married to a Jewish woman. I've got a lot of respect for the Jewish people. But something about this Epstein thing, it really bothers me, and it seems that the files not being released really bothers me, and the fact that they are controlling people with these files, and that's what it's all about. That's why they did all this anyways, is to be able to control people.
Do you think, I don't have an answer to this, but I'm interested if you have one. Do you think Trump is among those that's compromised?
I don't think so, because he was the guy who actually turned them in. But I don't think that Trump is part of that.
Okay.
But that's not my thought. I don't know.
No, I mean, it is an interesting aspect to that. That topic, the FBI, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino came out and said, well, Epstein killed himself. We've seen the evidence.
But you saw the pictures.
Well, I'm interested in as much as they said, we're going to release all of this information, and it was nothing that had not already been released in public documents during the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. And then they said, that's just phase one. Phase two's coming. Well, it's been like 3 months. And what?
Yeah, this whole thing, obviously something's going on that we don't understand and we're not part of. But it's a bigger picture overall. And, I'm afraid that what's going to happen is that our deep state is going to go ahead and pull a false flag that will say, look, just like 9/11, of course. Oh, look, the Iranians attacked us. We need to jump into this war. Don't be surprised if that happens.
We shall see, Lenny. We shall see. You know what? Frankly, in 2025, and thank you for the call, nothing would surprise me. I disagree on a couple of fronts, but that's not what this hour's for. That's not what next hour's for. This hour and next hour is for you to offer your thoughts and perspectives on what's going on specific to the Israeli-Iranian war. Lenny's position is that perhaps there's a compromised position that many of the American politicians find themselves in, and so they're going to go along with whatever Israel wants to do. I think that would be, in order for me to go along with that, then that means that the Trump administration is compromised. And one would think that anyone within the Trump administration that would be compromised, it would have to be Donald Trump. I mean, because thus far, Congress has kind of yet to weigh in on this. But it's certainly, I suppose, something to consider. Ricky, Dan, David, and John, not necessarily in that order, coming up next. It is the Matt Murphy Show. We are on location. We're filling up the restaurant side of Kings Bowl. Would love to see you in Cool Springs at any point this afternoon. The rest of the gang's going to join us a little bit later on, and we'll have sort of a roundtable discussion about the first 6 months of the Trump administration, kind of broaden out the discussion beyond the current conflict, and we'll do that starting officially at 6 o'clock. But whenever those boys get here, they're going to be on the radio with us. Your calls until then, 615-737-9986, 9 until 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, friends? Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. You know, Jeff Eddy's Efficient Heating and Cooling, they get it. I mean, it's hot outside, it's humid outside, and if your AC is not working properly, that can be tough. And it's the hardest season on your cooling system, obviously, because when it's hot, it's working a lot harder. If anything's going to break down or go wrong, it's going to happen nowadays. That's why summer maintenance is so important. I hope that you've already done this, but if not, there's still a little time to get some summer maintenance done on your AC, because if you do, and anything occurs in July or August or September or until it's time to shut the AC down for the season, they're going to come out and service that AC again at no charge to you. It's their maintenance guarantee at Efficient Heating and Cooling. Ask them about it when you make the call that so many others have made. To Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or online at efficienthvac.net. Like I say, if your AC's not ready, call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling.
Israel and Iran continue trading missile strikes. We had a post to Truth Social by President Trump that's raising a lot of eyebrows. And we had a mayoral candidate in New York City arrested by ICE today. We'll tell you about these stories and more at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
By the way, many of you have reached out to me. We're live in Cool Springs at Kings Bowl. Hello, come on out. Say hello to us in person. We'd love to see you in advance of Dan Mandis getting here, Chris Hand getting here, Chad Benson getting here, the rest of the crew. By the way, yes, I understand that Dan Mandis was blaming me for boogers on the microphone this morning, and I'll have something to say with Mandis when he gets here a little bit later. I mean, did you hear about this, Ken?
I heard the whole thing, Brother Murphy.
Did you now? I mean,
I heard the whole thing.
Apparently, Mandis wanted to throw me under the bus for boogers on the microphone.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. All of my booger, every single one of my boogers is underneath the desk. Because I know how to.
Chewing gum.
Yeah, with the chew. That's exactly right. Well, I mean, yeah. How did you know about the chewing gum? I haven't told anybody about the chewing gum.
Well, that's where I put mine.
Well, yeah, there you go. Well, birds of a feather and all of that. So we'll have the gang out here a little bit later on. And we would love to see you as well. In the meantime, your telephone calls. Let's get to Ricky real quick. On line 1 wants to talk Iran. Ricky, I got a couple of minutes. They're yours, buddy. What's going on?
So I enjoy your show. I'll right get to the point, Ricky. I feel like there's big countries like U.S. and China and Russia. They all play for proxy war. And my thinking is Saudi and Qatar, they are silent supporter of Iran. They don't want to jump in the fray, but Iran went through back channel asking Trump to go ahead and mediate and try to get the peace together. And Russia, as you know, offered that, you know, they could be a truce partner between Israel and Iran. And China is also watching it. And I don't know whether you remember it recently when the India and Pakistan was fighting, China was giving all the stuff to Pakistan to basically weaken India. So, you know, big players always go through and do proxy war. But I think we taking all the gifts from Qatar and Saudi for investment, etc., makes us weak for making independent judgments in this war. That's my point.
Ricky, thank you for the call. Thank you for the point made. I'm out of time for this hour, but I'll reflect on that next hour and also get to Dan and David and Murray and Glenn as we continue live from Cool Springs at Kings Bowl. Come see us at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got some pretty heavy rain moving into downtown Nashville right now. In fact, it's Millersville, Madison, Nashville. Looks like Bellevue going to be involved in this heavy rain. Nothing severe, just heavy rain, maybe a little thunder or lightning here. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Aerial attacks between Israel and Iran continue, marking a 5th day of strikes following Israel's Friday attack. President Trump on social media posting about Iran's supreme leader. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers with the latest.
President Trump writes in a new social media post Tuesday afternoon that the U.S. knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding and adds, quote, "He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now." The message coming after 2 U.S. officials told ABC News Sunday that the president rejected an Israeli plan in recent days to kill Ayatollah Khamenei. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told ABC Monday that Israel won't rule out an attempt to assassinate him. President Trump in his post Tuesday says the U.S. does not want to see missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers, adding, quote, "Our patience is wearing thin." Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
And a Republican lawmaker in the House has drafted a bill that prevents the use of American forces against Iran.
The measure to block the use of U.S. forces in Iran is being introduced by Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie. It already has several prominent Democratic co-sponsors. The bill invokes the 1973 War Powers Act, which calls for the removal of U.S. forces from a conflict if both houses pass a concurrent resolution. But that law, which was enacted over a president's veto, has been the subject of interbranch debate over its constitutionality since it went on the books 5 decades ago.
That's Stephen Portnoy reporting. Right now in New York City.
By asking for a judicial warrant? You don't have the authority.
New York City Comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander getting arrested by ICE at an immigration courtroom today. The 55-year-old is accused of accompanying immigrants exiting immigration court and helping to shield them from possible detention by ICE. And right now in Nashville, it's day 2 of the competency hearing of the man accused of killing Belmont University student Jillian Ludwig with a stray bullet in 2023. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac reports.
Yesterday, we heard emotional testimony from family members and psychologists, all trying to answer whether Taylor can stand trial.
If you think about what a typical 18-month-old is able to do in terms of language is very little, and yet his deficits were so severe and so obvious that even relative to other 18-month-olds who don't have a command of language yet, it was obvious that Mr. Taylor was not developing at the same sort of pathway.
And Jillian's family has made it clear they want Taylor to be found competent so he can stand trial.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, 40 eastbound at exit 205. The left lane is blocked by a stalled vehicle. We've got 24 westbound before Joe B. Jackson Parkway. That's going to be exit 84 in Murfreesboro. Left lane blocked by a crash. Then in Jolton, looks like a crash. Police reporting 24 eastbound just past New Hope Road, exit 31. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Entering hour number 2 of the Matt Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, just after 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing well. We're out at Kings Bowl this afternoon. We'll be here throughout the course of the afternoon and into the evening as we invite you to come out and break bread with us, say hello, shake hands. In Dan Mandis' case, give him a big old hug and maybe even a sloppy kiss and say hello to the Super Talk family, because we consider you to be a part of said same. Ken Weaver's back at home base. He's gathering headlines and delivering them twice an hour or when news breaks. Jackson is – I haven't even said hello to Jackson today. Jackson is capably running the show from our home studios, and we thank him for that. Jackson, you doing all right over there?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm
well.
great, man. You know, day one, you get thrown into the Wolves with Matt Murphy after Chris Webber announces his quote-unquote retirement. And then day two, I'm not even in studio with you. How about that?
I know.
You
I kind of like it this way.
I don't. Yeah, I figured you would say that. Don't get used to it. I'm back tomorrow, friend. Back tomorrow. We've got lots of you on the phones, and we'll get to you. Obviously, the topic of the day, the topic of the week, and what might be the topic for the foreseeable future, at least topic A, is the engagement between Israel and Iran. Call it a war, call it a conflict, whatever you want. Israel has decided to take the fight directly to the nation that has been sponsoring state terrorism against the state of Israel for a good while now. There is a middle road approach. I believe that Donald Trump is capable of taking that approach. I trust that Donald Trump has the intelligence and the ability. He knows and has been a champion of the idea of not having a new Iraq, not having a new Afghanistan, not having new wars crop up. I disagree with the phraseology of forever wars, but I fully understand what people, or at least I don't fully understand. I think I understand what people mean when they talk about forever wars, and that would be the American military-industrial complex, the defense contractors and the like that make a tremendous amount of money off of war being a part of the decision-making process as to whether or not it's in America's best interest to, in fact, go to war. Because if you have those people involved in the decision-making, I think I know what decisions they're going to make. And I get that. And I understand America's frustration with the tiresome nature of trying to take democracy abroad, especially into the Middle East. When it came to Iraq and Afghanistan, it was a failure because the people there have no interest in it. I think it would be a failure if we decided to attempt to nation build in Iran. But that is not what Israel is trying to do. At least it is not what their initial claims were. Now, there are some that are suggesting, and look, I get it. There are some war hawks out there like Lindsey Graham who never knew a war that he didn't like. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but Lindsey Graham needs to get laid or something because he is, I mean, my goodness gracious, Lindsey Graham. I mean, what? I mean, he does. I mean, Lindsey Graham needs a girlfriend or whatever because he's we need to get on the ground and we need to be there. We need blah, 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 blah. And he needs to get over himself. America is not going to put up with that sort of attitude, nor are we going to put up with that sort of approach. But there he was I forget, he was on Fox News. I guess it was Fox News last night. Telling us that we need boots on the ground in Iran, and it's an American security interest. I mean, his warmongering is to the point of delusion. But I believe that the Lindsey Grahams of the world are in the distinct minority in terms of decision-making on this front. I don't believe that the President of the United States is listening to people like Lindsey when it comes to what he's going to do to support Iraq. I do believe that Donald Trump can thread the support Iraq. I do believe that Donald Trump can thread the needle, that the president can balance the desire to defend our allies and the desire to eliminate the threat of a nuclear Iran against America's lack of desire to engage in another military conflict in the Middle East. I believe that he is the man for the moment, and I have trust in him, and I have faith in him. What I'm fascinated by are the number of people that don't, that would call themselves Donald Trump supporters or a part of the MAGA, quote-unquote, base of support, that they would question. I mean, these are the same folks that said, oh, no, just trust in the process. Donald Trump's 3 moves ahead. Donald Trump understands what he's doing, and now suddenly he doesn't. I mean, we were being told that that was the case on tariffs, and I believed in it, and I was right there with it. But I haven't changed my position on this. I still trust our man until proven otherwise. I'm interested in your thoughts on this matter. Obviously, a lot of different opinions on it, a lot of different perspectives, and I want to get to them. 615-737-9986. Those are the numbers on both the phone lines and the super text line. And speaking of our phone lines, let's see. Dan has been holding for a minute or two. Dan, thank you for your call this afternoon on the Matt Murphy Show. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Matt?
I'm great.
Good. Big fan of the show. Big fan of Kings, too. Kings is awesome. I love that place.
I wish you were here, Dan.
Yeah, me too. But, I don't think Lindsey Graham's in the market for a girlfriend. I don't know. But, anyways,
I knew I would get called out on it. Hey, Dan, let's just let Lindsey do Lindsey things.
Okay, yeah, he'll do what he does. But,
yeah.
Nothing against the Jewish people, the religion, nothing like that. But the state of Israel is terrible. They've taken billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars from us, and they turn around and use that money to buy our politicians with AIPAC. It's basically like Israel says jump and we say how high because they've bought and paid for pretty much all of our politicians. Trump's taken a huge amount of money from them. Just not a fan. I mean, I don't see why we need to get involved in this war whatsoever. It's none of our business. Just my take.
Okay. I mean, do you think Israel's right?
As far as, if they want to go destroy Iran, have fun, knock yourself out. Yeah, sure. But not again, they're just like itchy and scratchy, Iran and Israel. They do not like each other, but that's none of our business. That's none of my tax dollars' business. None of our sons and daughters' lives need to go over there. It's just a waste of time.
But when people I just want to have a conversation with you on this point. I'm not arguing with you, but when people bring up AIPAC to me, it sounds a lot like what I hear from liberals when they bring up the NRA. Okay. That anytime a conservative says no, I believe in the Second Amendment, they go, "Oh, you're just bought and paid for by the NRA." Well, I mean, couldn't we say that about anything?
I mean, you could cast AIPAC aside. If you don't even look at that, they've been caught spying on us. They've been caught stealing from us. If you want to go back far enough, they physically attacked us. I just don't understand for the life of me why Israel is like, no matter what, they're our greatest ally. When it seems to be a one-way relationship, like we give and they take. That seems to be. They've never helped us in one armed conflict in the history of their country. I mean, we've gone to war. Lots of countries have helped us in many different conflicts. Israel, not one.
You don't believe their presence in the Middle East is a stabilizing? You think it's destabilizing?
I mean, I don't care. I don't live in the Middle East.
Yeah, you don't think America has interest in the Middle East?
I mean, oil, yeah. Sure, we need the oil, but I don't see. I mean, why? I mean, what benefit would it be for us to go in there, help Israel destroy their mortal foe, and what do we gain from that? Israel secure. I don't
know that you're doing this intentionally, but you're suggesting that is my position. That is not my position. I don't believe that America should involve itself militarily. Now, if it involves like the United States giving Israel a bunker buster bomb, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather my tax dollars be spent elsewhere.
You'd rather your tax dollars be spent on what?
Domestically.
The same Republicans that you expect to do that have just suggested that the best that they can do is overspend by $1 trillion a year on this big, beautiful bill. So, that's kind of a different deal. I get it. You just don't you don't think we should have such a strong allegiance or alliance with the state of Israel. Okay. I mean, I appreciate that position.
If they could reach forward a little bit and make it a two-way relationship every now and then, but it just seems to be us giving them money, doing what they want us to do, and them in turn just doing nothing for us. Just my take.
Who do you think, just out of curiosity, Dan, who do you think is the greatest ally of the United States of America?
Oh, I don't know. Great Britain, maybe.
What are they doing for us?
Nothing. We don't need them for anything. I mean,
can you name a country? Let me ask you this. Let me ask it in a more pointed way. Can you name a country that's doing anything for us?
Militarily, economically, like what are we talking about exactly?
I mean, you said Israel doesn't do anything for us. I'm telling you, just name a country that does.
Good point.
Right.
There's no country,
I mean, we're the lead. We're the lead dog. We don't look to the pack.
Yeah, but there's no country that takes as much without giving anything back. There's tons of countries that, we give foreign aid to, and, there might be trade deals worked out or whatever. But it just seems to me that the more I look into it, the more it just seems like Israel just takes all this foreign aid. They turn around, they buy our military equipment with it, they buy our politicians with it, and
what do you if like you and I had the ability and we decided, Dan, to to just cut off all diplomatic contact with Israel, what do you think would happen to Israel?
I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, really.
I mean, you don't care. You don't care. I mean, if they were like, for example, ethnically slaughtered, you wouldn't care.
No, that would be horrible. But I mean, they have a pretty strong military. They can take care of themselves.
But they do take care of themselves. I mean, they seem to be taking care of Iran.
Yeah. Well, have fun. More power to them.
More power. All right, Dan. I appreciate the telephone call, brother. I appreciate the perspective. Thank you very much. I can appreciate it and not necessarily agree or disagree with it, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get some different opinions on here, and Dan obviously has some strong opinions about the state of Israel. Let's talk with who's next. I'll tell you what, let's do this first. Before I try to get into another telephone call with Glenn or with Risha or Michelle, it's 18 minutes after the hour. I want to remind you we're having a good time at Kings Bowl. Would love to see you. There is a table that has set up that has quickly filled up that is full of the YouTube chat folk. And I'm completely afraid of this table over there. They're here. A number of other listeners are already in attendance. Don't let the weather keep you away. It looks like a lot of the weather. There's some stuff popping in Murfreesboro right now that I'm watching on the radar. I got my radar pulled up right here, and there's just some storms and just your normal summertime stuff moving through on this Tuesday afternoon, but we'd love to see you. Don't let that keep you away as we are in of doors at Kings Bowl in Cool Springs, and we'd love to see you. 19 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare, affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine in a direct pay format. This is your primary care provider that you've never known you needed, but you do need these folks. All right, a couple of things. One, why the direct pay format? Two central reasons. One, you know exactly what you're paying for medical care when you go in to the visit. You know exactly what it is. Number two, they do not allow insurance companies to get in between you and the decision-making with your doctor. That should be a very sacrosanct relationship, and they make sure that is the case at Grace Point Healthcare. Smart Care Plan at just $69 a month includes free office visits for the entire year and free basic labs and diagnostic testing. Never any wait times at Grace Point Healthcare. I mean, they just don't believe in it. You know how you call your doctor, and, it's 2 weeks out. 2 weeks, I'm sick right now. You get to see the doctor when you are sick. Grace Point also treats the whole body with a comprehensive medical approach, getting to the root of the problem and not just treating the symptoms of the problem, and I absolutely love that. And they don't allow pharmaceutical companies to get in the way between you and decision-making with your doctor either. 599-6868. Schedule your next appointment, 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.
President Trump on social media posting about Iran's supreme leader. And it's day 2 of the competency hearing of Shaquille Taylor, the man accused of killing a Belmont University student with a stray bullet. We got these stories and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Not to jump in front of Ken Weaver's story there, but he's been talking about it all afternoon. Donald Trump says we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy target, but it's safe there. We're not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I like how he ended it. He ended it like he's my landlord. And I was leaving some trash out back. And he's like, we appreciate it if you keep your property clean. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's
very professional.
It's a very interesting way to end a Truth Social post in which he says, hey, by the way, buddy, we know where you are. You're all good, but just remind you, we know where you are. I kind of like that. 615-737-9986. It is time for, Jackson, let's see, Michelle. Go to Michelle, line 1. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Michelle. Thank you for calling.
Absolutely. I think we should consider to trust Trump until he shows us otherwise. He hasn't shown us any reason to not trust him. I think we should support Israel, not war. You can still support your child, but not do everything for them, right? So we should support them. And also, it was my understanding that there was a treaty or something made. I'm not sure of all the particulars, like in the 1940s. And that's all oil was to be traded with the American dollar, and that's how our American dollar kept its value. And then when Hussein came in, he broke that agreement. Our economy does thrive on oil. So, and
it's
lastly,
true.
I think we should support them because they're God's chosen people.
I mean, it was a thought that came to my mind. Thank you, Michelle, for the call today.
You're so welcome.
It was a thought that came to my mind as well. When we were having a conversation with the previous caller who, just basically said, Israel can, go pound sand, no pun intended, because they don't do anything for us. I do think that there are strategic advantages to have Israel as a presence in the Middle East. I think that there are intelligence advantages to having Israel in the Middle East. I think in terms of trade and investment, I think we do partner with Israel quite a bit in terms of our trade. I think there are benefits, American benefits to the allegiance. But the point that I was making when I asked the question, can you give me an example of a country that gives to the United States of America as much? There really aren't any because America is the lead dog in the world. And if you're the lead dog, the rest of the pack is following behind you. And if you're the rest of the pack, the view doesn't really change. But for the lead dog, you are charting the course. And so there really isn't, when it comes to American exceptionalism, I don't know with any nation that I would expect a return that is as great as what we give. That's what being the supreme superpower in the world is all about, to me. Now, if we don't want to be that, I had a caller yesterday suggest that we need to, become more isolationist in our nature, and that's my verbiage, that's my language, not theirs. But I used it with James, and James said as much, that, we need to close off our borders and stop our trading with all the rest of the world and do it on our own. Well, then you're giving up that lead dog status. Who's going to become that lead dog then? I would suggest China immediately assumes that role. And I don't believe the world is more stabilized. I don't believe the world is more democratic. I don't believe that you advance the cause of freedom and liberty around the globe. Not that that's necessarily our job, but I don't believe you advance that cause of freedom and liberty around the globe necessarily by becoming more isolationist. Thank you, sir. I just got an ice water. That's nice. I moved it over there just because, I wasn't poo-pooing the ice water. Thank you. Let's talk to Risha Jackson. Keeping Jackson on his toes. Risha, what's going on?
Hey there. How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for calling.
I'm good. Okay. Well,
I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, I lived in Israel. I was there in May 23 recently, before the October attacks. And regarding the caller that was complaining about AIPAC and how, it's like borderline Jew hate because it's the whole the Jews own everybody thing, and Israel represents that. And to me, that's like kind of going off the edge. But I do want to address this point about this sort of the nexus between the U.S. and Israel. I mean, I see it from a completely different perspective in that I would like to see Israel become more independent from the United States as well, but for a completely different reason, which is I believe, and the facts have borne it out, that the exchange that's going on between the United States and Israel, they are, of course, getting, financial assistance from the U.S., but it's really more in the form of weapons contracts. So it's kind of like one hand scratching the other hand. But to me, it's like the bloody strings of this is that every time there's a war situation where Israel could finish the job and kind of dispatch their enemies, they're always stopped. And that's why this stuff just festers and festers and festers. And that's why I'd like to see Israel assert more independence from the United States. So in a way, we have the same goal this time, but for completely different reasons. He's feeling like the Israelis are controlling the U.S. But what I see is the United States, which is a superpower, is much more controlling Israel. And I mean, it makes sense because, look, each country has overlapping interests, but not the identical interests.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see this. I mean, and Risha, thank you for the call and thank you for the point that you're making. It's kind of, it goes to the same place, but it comes from a different place as the previous caller. I just don't see this grand hand of control where the nation of Israel has. I mean, I think it's interesting to suggest that America is the greatest superpower on God's earth, yet we are controlled by a nation that depends on us for their very existence, which is also the point that I was ultimately making when I said, well, what do you think would happen to Israel if America just dissolved our interest in the Middle East? Well, if Israel is so powerful that they can control America, then how are they not powerful enough to handle their own business? I don't believe that the hidden hand of – I mean, I agree with you that there's an underlying suggestion that the hidden hand of Jew money controls all of this, and that's just – it's an unseemly suggestion. But you know what? To each their own, and to each perspective their own. I've got to run to the news. Ken Weaver patiently awaits to deliver some headlines. It is 4:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. President Trump on social media posting about Iran's supreme leader today. ABC News, White House correspondent Karen Travers with the latest.
President Trump writes in a new social media post Tuesday afternoon that the U.S. knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding and adds, quote, he is an easy target but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now. The message coming after two U.S. officials told ABC News Sunday that the president rejected an Israeli plan in recent days to kill Ayatollah Khamenei. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told ABC Monday that Israel won't rule out an attempt to assassinate him.
Here in Nashville, day 2 of the competency hearing of Shaquille Taylor, the man accused of killing a Belmont University student with a stray bullet in 2023, after he had been charged in another shooting but released after a doctor testified Taylor was incompetent to stand trial, just not enough to be sent to a mental health facility. Channel 4's Dryden Quigley says there was graphic testimony and video shown of Jillian getting shot.
Now, the state is pushing for this to go to trial, so they called witnesses today. This included Dr. Thomas Schatt, who talked about Taylor's ability to reason.
What he's describing here, assuming that the rest of the history and context supports it, is he's aware of a phone as a source of potentially incriminating evidence, and he's talking about his own thought process of giving it to somebody else so the police won't get it.
Now, a decision could be made by the judge today, or he could take all of this information and take weeks to decide and release a decision later.
And, of course, we'll let you know. Right now in Tennessee, News 2 says 12 inmates are facing charges for that 3-hour June 8th riot at Trousdale Turner Correctional Facility. Authorities say guards were held hostage until tear gas was used to contain the inmates in cells. The grand jury returning charges of aggravated riot, inciting a riot, robbery, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated assault, vandalism, and contraband in a penal institution. One of the guards had to be treated at the hospital. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, 440 eastbound at Nolensville Pike. The right shoulder blocked by a stalled vehicle. Police on the scene there. Also, look for I-40 east at the exit 205. Left lane blocked there by a stalled vehicle in West Nashville. Right now, we see the right lane is blocked 65 southbound at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard in the Rivergate area. In Jolton, we've got 24 eastbound past New Hope Road, exit 31. Police reporting a crash. In Glencliff, stalled vehicle blocking the left shoulder, 24 westbound at Antioch Pike. In Williamson County, a crash reported by the Highway Patrol, 840 eastbound near Columbia Pike. Then in Rutherford County, Highway Patrol reporting a crash 24 eastbound before exit 74. And also in Rutherford County, TDOT says the left lane is blocked by a crash 24 westbound before Joe B. Jackson Parkway. And Jolton, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound past exit 31. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Dr. Brian McLaughlin and the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. I love telling my personal story because when I first met Dr. Stephen Poss, and of course Dr. Brian McLaughlin is now taking over the practice that Dr. Poss started so many years ago. Dr. Poss is going gently into that retirement, which is great for him. But I met these guys, and I said, I don't know if I have sleep apnea or not. I don't snore that much. And they said, hey, a good percentage of men who have sleep apnea do not have significant snoring issues. Well, I took a sleep test, and lo and behold, I do have mild to moderate sleep apnea. I did get an oral device that is custom fitted for my mouth. I use it on a nightly basis, and I sleep better. I have more energy during the day, and I don't wake up throughout the course of the night, and I don't stop breathing throughout the course of the night. The health benefits are just incredible. Talk to Dr. Brian McLaughlin either at his office in Murfreesboro or Brentwood and find out from him how he can assist you. It can be life-changing. It can save your life. I mean, truly, when you think about sleep apnea and the detriment that it has to your health. Go to TennesseeSleep.com. That's TennesseeSleep.com and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and let's talk for a moment about Alpha and Omega computer consultation. Listen, if you're in business, I think every single business owner that hears me talking about Alpha and Omega needs to make a call to said same, Alpha and Omega. They're not new to the managed services industry when it comes to computer consultation. They've been around since 1998. They are local to Middle Tennessee, which is very important, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. Bottom line is this. If you're in business, whatever your business is, you're not in the computer business, the last thing you need to do is waste a lot of time on printers or computers or IT or, communication between staff or cybersecurity when there's a company that can handle all of that for you. As a business owner, your time is important. When you have an IT issue, you don't want to depend on a call center from some faraway place. Right here in Middle Tennessee is where Alpha and Omega exists. That's where their people are, and that's who will answer the phone when you call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's Alpha and Omega computer consultation. Get a real person on the phone and talk to them about what they can do to you to help you get back to business. 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or online at a&o.net. That stands for Alpha and Omega, a&o.net. It is the Matt Murphy Show. Back to your phone calls coming up in just a couple of minutes. It's about 20 until 5 o'clock. The gang slowly arriving. Thank you for coming out to see us in Cool Springs at Kings Bowl. We'd love to see you if you're out and about. Stop by and see us. If you're getting off at 5 o'clock, we'll be here till about 8 o'clock tonight. The whole gang will be here. Chad Benson, Dan Mandis, and yours truly, Matt Murphy. And who am I missing? Oh, Chris Hand will also be here today. And we will kind of do a roundtable discussion about the first 6 months of the Trump presidency. And obviously, foreign policy is probably going to be the dominant feature of that conversation. But we also have immigration to talk about. We have energy and the economy, tariffs, the big, beautiful bill, DOGE, liberal judges, executive orders. It's all on the table later on as we welcome the entire roundtable for a midterm review, or a mid-year review, I should say. Look who's here. Jack Johnson is here. Senator Jack Johnson has stopped by to say hello to us. Hello.
Hey, Matt. Welcome to the 27th Senatorial District. It's great to have you here in this incredible facility, Kings Bowl. Been here many times.
Have you now? Have you bowled?
I'm not much of a bowler, no, and I'm afraid someone might get video of it and put it on YouTube, and it could be bad.
Maybe today, maybe later on this afternoon.
Probably not, but I will cheer those on who are good bowlers. I'm not one of them.
Have you been paying attention? I mean, it feels like the world is paying attention to what's going on in the Middle East right now.
Really is, and obviously very serious matter that's going on. I'm just so grateful that President Trump is there. And not who was in the White House prior to him being there, and knowing that the team he has surrounded himself with. I've really, really enjoyed the spirited conversation. I listen to 99.7 all the time, and people have very strong, passionate feelings, and that's good. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad President Trump, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, all of the folks, when you look at the caliber of people in the Trump administration who are dealing with this crisis, I have confidence in them.
I take the position that I'm going to trust in Trump until he proves me wrong, and I believe I don't think it has to be one extreme or the other. I don't think you have to abandon Israel. At the same time, I don't think that it necessarily means that we're automatically going to see military involvement on the part of the United States of America. I think that Donald Trump can thread that needle and support our allies in the Middle East, and at the same time refrain from another war in the Middle East.
Well, I agree. When you look at how he campaigned both times, when he ran for president in 2016, he ran 3 times, but certainly the 2 times he's been in office, he has held true to those values. And so, again, it's important to all of us. I disagree with some of the callers who have called in and said we have no interest in being over there. I think we do have a role to play, but threading that needle, keeping our soldiers out of harm's way, unless it's absolutely necessary, is certainly something I think we all support.
Well, obviously, we had you on just a couple of days ago talking about other state matters. I won't drag you back into state matters today. I just wanted to say hello and tell you how much we appreciate you coming out and supporting Super Talk.
Well, love Super Talk.
In your home Senate district.
And right here in beautiful Cool Springs, and encourage everybody to come by. I can't stay for too much longer. I've got a dinner engagement tonight, but look forward to saying hi to everybody who's here.
And it's my understanding, somebody told me that first beers on Johnson, was that rumors?
No,
were there rumors?
Johnson is such a common name. There's a lot of us Johnsons, so I see people waving the waitress doors.
Already glasses are going in. That was a joke, everybody. That was a joke. But thank you for everything you do, man.
Well,
we appreciate you.
Thanks to Super Talk for being here in Franklin, and I hope you all have a big crowd tonight.
Well, we certainly hope that we do as well. There's Senator Jack Johnson hitting us up for a couple of minutes. Let's talk to who's been holding the longest. Kevin, I believe it is. Kevin, thank you for your call. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing okay, Matt. How about yourself?
Well.
I pretty much agree with you on this whole thing. Yeah, you help Israel out with the equipment they need, and maybe some intel, but no American boots on the ground, no American jets in the air, that kind of thing. But to Dan's point, he talks about essentially being isolationist. We're not set up to be isolationists anymore. Well, there's too many things that we outsourced that we cannot just cut ourselves off from everybody else, because we have now intricately tied ourselves to other countries, so we can't just do that. So that won't work. And the other thing is, Israel, at least they buy the weaponry from us. They don't, not necessarily, they're quite unlike Ukraine, where Biden just handed it over and big sacks of money with no accountability, and just gave the stuff away. And what was Dan saying about that? But no, I definitely would help Israel out that way, but nothing with people, none of our people.
I like it. I appreciate the perspective, and thank you for the call, Kevin. Take care. 615-737-9986. Letting the listeners of Super Talk 99.7 WTN have their say. Obviously, we all have opinions on the matter, very strong opinions on the matter. And I've long said in the 25 years that I've been doing talk radio that there's an interesting, when you talk about Israel and the Middle East more broadly, there is an incredible convergence of faith-based belief and, obviously religious conviction weighs heavily in our thoughts and feelings about what to do regarding or what we can't do regarding the Middle East. There's a lot of politics that goes on in that region of the world as well, and there's a coming together of a lot of those things. And I do, if you sit back for a moment to appreciate that this man in this time is able to handle this moment. I don't know that Benjamin Netanyahu would have engaged in the actions that he has in taking the fight to the heart or the belly of the beast, were it not for the fact that Donald Trump was the president of the United States of America. In the meantime, let us talk with Jerry, who is next up on the show. Hey, Jerry, I'm glad you called. What's going on with you?
I just wanted to set the record straight with Israel. After 9/11, they actually offered to send troops, but we refused it because we were afraid that too many of the Islamic nations were going to come in against us. So we asked them not to. We asked them to stay out of it. And as for who sent the most, the answer to that is Poland out of the other NATO countries.
Mm-hmm. Well, very good. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, and anybody who thinks that we should be an isolationist, we're not. You're not going to have the goods and services that we enjoy for the prices that we have if we just stuck internally.
Well, and let me and just the first example, and thank you, Jerry, for your telephone call today. The first example that comes to mind, and look, I don't begrudge people their position on it, and if you want to suggest that we need to be a nation that has little to no dependence on any other country around the globe, the first thing that we have to do is expect that we're not going to have cell phone communication very much longer anymore. I mean, rare earth minerals are vital to cell phone communication. Unless we are going to begin to prepare to blow up a lot of mountains along the United States of America in our mountainous regions to get to some of the rare earth minerals that exist. I think Tennessee has rare earth minerals in the eastern side of Tennessee. You would have to do a lot of that to mine those minerals that are necessary to create the products as they are designed today, or come up with different designs. That's one small example. And I mean, well, I'll give you another example. A lot of the components that go into our pharmaceuticals, I'm not suggesting that we don't need to lessen our dependence on pharmaceuticals, but a lot of our pharmaceuticals come from overseas as well. So if we're shutting ourselves off from the rest of the world, then we best be prepared to start manufacturing those types of things over here as opposed to depending on bringing them in from over there. Mike is next. Mike, let's get to Mike on line 2 real quick. I think we can slip one more in here before I have to take a break. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Mike, I'm great. I'm glad you called.
Just as we're talking, Israel's now being bombarded again from Iran, and I'm hearing some of your callers, they kind of sound anti-Semitic. And what I'd like to ask you to do is go back biblically and find out there were 10 tribes that crossed the Caucasus Mountains of the 12 tribes that went into Russia, Esau went into Europe, came to the United States, settled Canada, and we don't even know who we are. We could be Israelis, and you don't even know it. The fact of the matter is, they're our only friend in the Middle East, in that part of the world. And by the way, Israel supplies Europe's vegetable. 80% of the vegetables that get sent to Europe comes from Israel. And so that nation is God's country, that is God's city, Jerusalem, Zion, and we are now sitting here listening to people on your show saying, well, I don't care about Israel, that's their war. No, it's our war.
I appreciate the call. I mean, look, Mike, I'm trying to let folks express their opinion on this matter. It is the blessing of the United States of America that we have the ability to speak freely on these matters. And look, whatever the perspective might be, I'm just trying to let folks. I don't think it's our war, by the way, but I appreciate your passion on that front. Garrett and Jay will get to you in a moment, and we're winding down hour number 2 of the Matt Murphy Show from Kings Bowl in beautiful Cool Springs. Speaking of beautiful, look who just walked up. I'll tell you who that is next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Genesis Diamonds has an incredible opportunity for you. They have 2 locations right here in Cool Springs and Green Hills. That opportunity, 0% interest on approved credit for the next 5 years. So I understand that it can be a little daunting shopping for diamonds for your loved one or significant other. Or if you're a female out there and your hubby has talked about a beautiful Rolex watch, they have incredible pre-owned Rolex watches. Now, it can be daunting in as much as, the price tag, right? A beautiful diamond pendant for $2,000 or $3,000, whatever it might be. If you're on a budget, consider this. Genesis Diamonds is offering you an opportunity to spread those payments over 5 years, and they're not going to charge you a bit of interest. Yes, even the sales tax. This is an insane offer from the jeweler that's always finding ways to bring you more value. Every single certified diamond included in this. Rounds, princess cuts, ovals, pear shapes, custom cuts, emerald cuts, all of those diamonds are included. You get the Genesis value price on anything and everything in the store. You pay 0 down, and you spread your payments over 5 years. Just divide by 60, and that is your monthly payment. Genesis Diamonds. Go see this offer today because it will not last forever. As a matter of fact, it ends at the end of June. Green Hills and Cool Springs. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis Diamonds.
President Trump on Truth Social, seemingly threatening the life of Iran's supreme leader. We've got reaction to that. Also, here in Tennessee, a second arrest in the June 6th, the shooting in Spring Hill that sent a 1-year-old baby to the hospital. These stories and more at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. That's coming up in just mere seconds on Super Talk 99.7 WTN as we continue from Cool Springs. We're at Kings Bowl. Man, the gathering's getting a little bit excited. Hey, guys. Look, that's the YouTube chat table over there, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the crazies.
We call them passionate.
I mean, no, they're crazy.
Passionate.
Have you been over there to the YouTube chat?
I
don't know. I don't know if they're as rambunctious in the morning as they are in the afternoon.
Oh, they're rambunctious.
But in the afternoons, they're getting after it.
I see them. I hear them and read them before coffee. And then by the time you see them, they've had a few drinks.
Sure. There's the voice of Dan Mandis. He was the sexy that I was talking about that had just walked into the room. That's right.
The sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I said, look, speaking of beautiful, look who just walked through the room.
Listen, my age, I'll take anything from anybody. Thank you.
I see that you dress nice and casual. That's cool.
I did.
I guess.
I did. This is my cruise wear.
You're on. You kind of, it goes with the theme of Kings Bowl. They've got the
it was all planned in
all.
advance. I told them what I was going to wear, and they put all that stuff up.
That's nice of them.
Very nice. Very nice.
Hey, there's Chris Hand.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
What's going on? All right, so we're going to get after it here in just a moment. These guys have shown up early. Chad Benson's going to be here before you know it. It is 5 o'clock right now. It's time for Ken Weaver in the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Israel and Iran still shooting missiles at each other. Then State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce today took the burning question after President Trump posted Iran's supreme leader would be easy to kill, but not right now.
Tammy, would the U.S. government like to see regime change in Iran?
First of all, I'm certainly not going to remotely address that. It would require me to speculate or speak on behalf of the president, which I will not do.
Meanwhile, Al Jazeera says it confirmed this was a strike on Israeli intelligence buildings near Tel Aviv. At least 24 people have been killed in Israel and at least 220 in Iran since the two started fighting each other on Friday. Here in Nashville, it is day 2 of the competency hearing for the man accused of killing Belmont University student Jillian Ludwig with a stray bullet in 2023. Channel 4's Dryden Quigley says Shaquille Taylor had been set free after a doctor testified in a separate shooting case that Taylor was incompetent to stand trial, but not enough to be court-ordered to a mental health facility, so he went free.
The state is pushing for this to go to trial, so they called witnesses today. This included Dr. Thomas Schott, who talked about Taylor's ability to reason.
What I took from the whole statement that he made there is, first of all, he's aware of camera and surveillance video as a form of evidence. By asking the police an if-then question, he's engaging in reasoning.
It's been moving to see Jillian's friends and family sit through hours of this testimony both yesterday and today. We do think it should be wrapping up sometime this evening, but it's unclear if the judge is going to make a decision tonight or if he's going to take all of this information and then release a written decision in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we'll let you know. The California Democratic senator who was briefly detained and handcuffed after he interrupted Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at an L.A. press conference is back in Washington speaking out.
Alex Padilla's voice broke as he shared his experience on the Senate floor.
I was forced to the ground. First on my knees, and then flat on my chest.
The California Democrat said if authorities can detain a senator,
imagine what they'll do to any American who dares to speak up.
DHS has said the security agents protecting Secretary Noem thought Padilla was an attacker. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
All right, just got a news alert. This is Channel 5 out of Memphis that just sent out a breaking news alert that says Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has been transported to the hospital. I'll be working to get you more details on that very shortly. That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got some heavy rain falling on parts of Nashville right now. It is really slowing things down around the loop and then eastbound 24, eastbound 440 over to 24, northbound 65 up to the south loop. Got a crash in Williamson County. Highway Patrol reporting at 840 eastbound at exit 28. In Murfreesboro, Highway Patrol says there's a crash 24 eastbound before I-840. Then back here in Nashville, we've got the right shoulder block. Police say there's a crash 40 westbound at I-440 in Antioch, 24 eastbound at Harding Place. And then in Lebanon, Highway Patrol says there's a crash 40 westbound between South Hartman Drive, exit 236, and I-840, exit 235. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, here we go. It is hour number 3 of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Look at how we're getting all full now. I love seeing it. Hey, everybody, we're at Kings Bowl for our big mid-year review, and it unofficially starts right now. The official start happens in about an hour from now as the entire gang will be here. Chad Benson will be along momentarily. Dan Mandis is in the house. Hello, Dan Mandis.
Hello, hello. Dan? Glad to be here.
There's a smattering of applause.
Come on, man.
There's a smatter. Let me see if I can get a little better. Chris Hand is here. Everybody, Chris Hand.
All right, we got a little bit better than Dan.
Matt Murphy's here.
Whatever. That's what happens when you pay them. There's a little boo. There's a boo or two in the audience. And Chad Benson will be along before you know it. We also have a special guest that's in the house with us, and we thought we'd bring Derek up here. You might not know Derek by voice or by name, but you know what he brings to the table when it comes to Nashville, Tennessee, because Derek, along with Lenny McGill, is just the founder and the architect of what is the Glock store, and we love everything about your shop. Derek, what's going on, brother?
Thank you guys so much. We're big fans of the show. I guess my dad was calling in earlier. So
Your dad called me earlier. Your dad called it with a hot take, baby.
I don't know what got him so worked up, but like he was driving home, and I guess he just had to say some stuff. And hey, I agree with everything you said. It was cool.
Like halfway through the conversation, I'm like, holy moly, this is Lenny McGill.
Oh, it was spicy.
I loved Dan walked in. He's like, your dad was on there, and he was dropping some hot takes. And then he read one of your guys' texts about it.
I had sent Dan from the Glock store. I sent him a text, just flames. I said that was Lenny on the radio earlier.
It's so good.
I was expected that.
But I mean, that's the family approach that we have on the radio station and on the radio show, right? That whether you're a listener, whether you're a sponsor, we want to hear those takes.
Yep.
And thank you for stopping by today, man.
Yeah,
we
for
appreciate
sure.
it.
Well, I mean, I want to just invite everybody out to come to our range. You guys have shot there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You guys should
100%.
come more because you can never shoot enough. And
that's true.
The thing that you can do at our range that you really can't do anywhere else. I mean, I just say it openly. Like most ranges just kind of suck. And most, go into a lane, shoot straight down, and you hit a target, and like it really doesn't tell you how good a shooter you are. You don't know how good a shooter you are until you actually start incorporating movement. So you start incorporating, getting around targets, drawing from a holster, drawing from concealment, backpedaling and shooting, doing things that you would actually do in a real-life situation. And I can't tell you how many people come in and they can hit a target standing still, and then you get them doing some transitions. They can't shoot anything. And so, we're a unique range because you can actually do that kind of stuff. You can actually go into a private room. You can shoot any direction you want to shoot. You can shoot full auto. That's kind of fun. But really, you can train as if your life depends on it. And we get people from all over the country coming in, people from all walks of life, SWAT guys, LEO guys, military guys, doing serious training. So if you want to actually learn to shoot for real and actually defend your life and your property and your freedom, come on down because we're a unique spot.
The thing that I loved about my training, because I trained there, I still do, but I really trained hardcore for like a year, is shooting around corners.
Right.
Shooting around corners, shooting in the dark.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. And it really did, not to sound too much like a commercial, but it did make me a better and a more confident shooter.
Well, and that's what you're going to be doing in a real life situation. You don't get to just shoot at a static target. You've got someone who's moving. You've got to hide behind cover. You've got to round your door inside your home. And actually
Wouldn't life be nice if you could do that? The intruder that comes into your home, could you stand about 20
right
yards
right.
and just right there and just replicate a silhouette, and that'd be nice.
That'd be perfect.
Because I tell people all the time, and this is not because I am an endorser of the Glock store. It's because it's the truth that indoor lanes are wonderful.
Right.
If you don't have what you have, once you go to the Glock store and you experience the difference between the way that you train at the Glock store, you'll never go back to a lane situation.
It's totally different. It's not nearly as fun, but it's also not nearly as dynamic, and it's not nearly as useful and practical. I mean, you can come into our range, and we'll put you through scenarios that will mimic real-life situations.
It only takes one time at the Glock store to realize how different it is and how much better it is training there. And I sing you guys' praises all the time. I was with Riley Gaines over the weekend. I said, have you been to the Glock store yet? She's like, no. I said, you need to.
She needs to come by.
You absolutely have to be at the Glock store.
Well, if Riley's listening, she should definitely come by.
Well,
we have a lot of fun.
I'll send her a text. I'll make that happen for you.
100%. Well, look, I mean, I know that you've got the full auto action going on down there, but you said right before we came back on air, we got a Glock full auto going on?
We do. We have a full auto Glock. Normally, those are only legal for street thugs on TikTok, but we have one. Okay, you were talking about hot takes. My hot take is that they deliberately do not enforce these things against, because if one of you guys had one of those, like the book would be thrown at you.
No doubt, no question.
But you see like these teenagers on TikTok shooting at parks and stuff like that, and nothing happens. And I think part of it's like this plan to create this narrative that there's these dangerous weapons out there. Let's come in and regulate them.
Right.
But we do a license to actually manufacture machine guns on the property. So if you want to come and shoot, whether it's a full auto APC-9 or a Mark 18 or a full auto Glock now, you can do that.
I shot the APC-9. That thing
Isn't that a ton of fun?
So much fun.
So that is the Air Force, U.S. Air Force actual submachine gun, the official submachine gun of the U.S. Air Force.
How much is that firearm?
It's $3,500 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pretty pricey gun, but you're getting what you pay for sure.
Talk about the rebuilds.
Oh yeah,
the rebuild blocks.
So we've still got some left. So actually, some of them are going to go pretty quickly, maybe in the next couple days, because I have a cool security company. I won't say who they are, but they're going to come in and buy them in bulk. But rebuild Glocks are Glocks that Glock basically used as a show model, and then they take them back in and they don't sell them as new, so they sell them at a huge discount, but they are essentially new. They've just been used as a display model. They look brand new, so they're an incredible deal. We've got Glock 47s left. We've got Glock 26s left. We've got Glock 45s left. So if you want to save, $120 on a brand new Glock, we've got them still, so come on by.
And everybody's done that with electronics. Everybody buys refurbished iPhones or refurbished TVs. It's the same kind of process. It goes back to the factory, same warranty, same everything.
Yeah, and Glocks, they last forever anyway, and these have basically never been shot anyway, so it's really just a formality for a lot of these guns. I mean, some of them truly have never been shot, and they just ended up as a rebuild technically, but they're not even a rebuild.
I don't know if you ever give tours to the general public for the manufacturing side
all
of
the
things.
time.
Do you really?
Yeah, all the time.
I was going to say, it is as impressive looking at some of those 3D systems that you have.
Right.
I mean, that was one of the more impressive parts of the Glock store is watching you guys manufacture the parts that you sell.
Thank you. Yeah, anyone who comes by is welcome to have a tour. We love showing the place around, so you come by, I will give you a tour 100%. Like, we are never too busy to do that. We'll show you the whole building. We'll show you the warehouse. We'll show you the manufacturing. We'll show you the gun room, everything. You can get your hands on anything you want, and we'll take you through it all.
Always a gunsmith on site when the store's open, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We have gunsmiths. We have trained shooters. Our shooting range manager is an incredible shooter. We've got people from all backgrounds, very competent, able to help you from every stage of your shooting experience.
Derek, we appreciate you guys so much, and Dan Mandis is going to demonstrate his appreciation by buying you a beer. Dan told me that he would get you a beer.
I already paid for my beer. You should have told me that beforehand.
I mean, he'll get you the next one. I mean, Dan's a good man that way.
Sure.
Stand-up guy.
Stand-up guy. Dan, then Chris, then Matt. That's the rotation.
Okay.
For every person that comes by. Derek, thanks, brother. We appreciate it. There's Derek Miguel with the Glock Store. What a wonderful organization. Go to glockstore.com or shoot270.com to find out about anything that we're talking about. I'll tell you what, Jackson, let's take a quick time out. We'll reset. We'll get you guys on the telephones at 615-737-9986. We're in Cool Springs. We invite you to stop by. We'll be here till 8 o'clock tonight. Chad's going to swing in, and the four of us are kind of going to go over everything that's happened up until now for the full year of 2025. All of the aspects of the Trump administration for the first 6 months we'll go over, and obviously there'll be a heavy dose of foreign policy discussion as that is hot in the press and hot on the headlines today. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, back after this. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. My man Shane Ring. You got me over there? My man Shane Ring at Cover Nash is not your typical health insurance salesperson, right? Because that typical salesperson that you get calling you on the phone or at a call center, they're selling you a specific product, right? And at some point, that product is his customer, not you. With Shane Ring and Cover Nash, they don't do it that way. Shane covers the entire health insurance marketplace. In other words, you're his customer, and he's going to find out what your needs are, what you need from a benefit standpoint, what you need from a cost standpoint, and then he's going to find the right program and the right health insurance plan for you. He is your health insurance expert. If you just have questions and you're not ready to make a move right now, go ahead and call Shane. Let him talk to you about some of those questions that you might have. Don't get taken advantage of, and don't overpay. So many people do because they don't think that they have any other options. You do. Call Shane Ring and Cover Nash today. Take control of your money and your health coverage managed by you and not by the government. Go to covernash.com. That's covernash.com or 615-465-0023. 465-0023 for Cover Nash.
A member of President Trump's cabinet rushed to the hospital. This story and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We're on the radio.
We're on the radio right now?
Yeah, we are.
That's
sure
what I'm
are,
told.
man.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Joan
check
Jones
one,
is
two.
here.
Check 1, 2. Yes. It's 21 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's mass chaos at Kings Bowl in Cool Springs. Hello, everybody. Give us a nice round of applause.
Yeah, we got a good crowd here. Good-looking crowd.
Nice. Very
a
nice.
nice-looking crowd and growing. I have an update because there has been mass confusion regarding how late we are broadcasting.
Yes.
We now have it settled that we're going until midnight tonight. So,
Oh, good.
Dan, you'll be here. You'll be anchoring coverage until midnight this evening.
Sure, absolutely.
Joan, too.
Joan will be here as well because you guys have nothing to do early in
No,
the morning.
heck
No, we don't have to
Yeah.
get up early or anything.
No, my apologies for confusing everyone. We're actually, it's because a lot of times when we do these things, if there's election night coverage or whatever, we go till 8. We're just here till 7 on air, but we'll probably hang out. At least I will. I'll hang out and say hello to anybody that's still here.
We'll be getting sloshy right about 8 o'clock.
Oh,
yeah.
oh no, now by 7 o'clock.
Oh,
now
okay.
it's even earlier.
Yeah.
Hey, Joan.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, great.
As I told you off air, I want to say on air, what a vision of loveliness you are.
Isn't he so sweet?
You really
Dan,
are.
Why don't you say stuff like that in the morning?
Well, just so we're clear, he said that to me in Chris, too.
I heard him,
He
yeah.
said, Beauty walked in with Mandis.
I said beauty with
Beauty
Madness.
walked in.
I don't recall saying anything about Chris Ham because he gets enough of it from you in the
Yeah,
morning. I
yeah.
mean, my goodness gracious, the bromance that happens during the crisscross handoff. What are we calling it?
It's a love fest. That's what we're calling it, a love
The
fest.
criss-off handoff? What are we?
Crisscross handoff.
Oh, crisscross handoff. My apologies.
When I remember.
Can we make that name a little bit longer?
We're working on it. Got any more suggestions?
Boogergate. That's what I have.
Oh, so we're on a booger gate.
Joan,
Yeah.
can I hear you back there, Ken? Joan, talk to me about what happened this morning in the 5 o'clock hour. I'm very interested
You know,
in your
5
perspective
o'clock
on
is
this.
always so interesting because you feel like you're getting away with something, nobody's
Right,
listening,
right.
but really everybody's listening. So there was a booger that showed up on the microphone, on the windscreen.
on its own.
On its own. And there was an implication. There was never like an outright declaration that it came from you.
Uh-huh.
But there was an implication.
That's not what I heard.
That the last person to use the microphone had to be the person that left it there.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. Immediately assumed it was Murphy. Immediately.
I tried to
They didn't even get to where the booger was, and I said it had to be Murphy.
I've been accused of leaving hair. I've been accused
you
of
have.
now leaving
I think
boogers.
it was confirmed about the hair.
Well, I mean, it's Dan's not leaving hair.
No, I'm not.
It could be facial hair. Very short, stubbly facial hair.
There's no truth to the rumor that I tried to get hashtag Murphy Booger trending on social media. I did not try to do that.
It's my understanding that there's now a Twitter account that's called Murphy's Booger. It's a photo of the
Well,
thing.
but the funny thing is, if you look at the video, I don't know if you've seen the video, but you see
haven't seen it yet,
you
Joe.
see me just discover it, and I'm like, if this is the microphone, I'm like, we're in conversation. Like I'm in the middle of like a monologue, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, what in the world?
Eyes
is
are just
this?
drawn to it.
And then I in my head, I'm like, okay, do I actually, in the middle of breakfast, start talking about this?
And then you had no hesitation.
I'm like, Joan, I got to do this. There is and I don't know why I did it, but I like tried to whisper booger. I think
It's 5 a.m.
I think
Right.
there's
Well, because you thought you might get fired.
As you do.
there's I think there's
A
a
booger.
booger on the microphone thing. And
Booger.
well, Johnny Fever got fired from saying that on the radio.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Dr. Johnny
Yeah.
Fever, that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Some of us are old enough to get the reference.
He
But
didn't
not
know.
all of us. Chris
I love how Hand reacts when you don't know Johnny, and Chris is like, no, I don't, because I'm much younger than you and you're dying first. I mean, that's the basic implication is that I don't know about any of those things that happened in the 70s because I was born way after.
I was negative 22 at the time of the show being released.
But the best part of that whole thing was I swore up and down it wasn't mine, and then Mason goes to the tape. I threatened to have DNA testing done on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was the placement of the booger that was odd.
It was on top of it.
It was on top and to the left, and it added some implication of a second
Back into the
flicker.
left.
It was
yeah.
People were wondering if there was a second flicker, and I still think maybe there was something to do with Mason. Maybe he came in and he brought you something.
Because I was gone.
Did you go to the bathroom?
I did go to the bathroom.
did?
Well, I went to get coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that the nasal industrial complex was concerned about the booger, so they wanted to.
I like the way Mason says, I'm going to go back and check the tape to see what happened last night.
Yeah.
And he goes to check you first.
He did.
Yeah, he kind of threw you right under the bus.
Right under the bus,
Yeah.
like any good producer.
Like any good Chris Hand producer.
And then exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody likes Chris better than me. You like Chris better than me. Mason likes Chris. KJ, whatever. So they look at the tape.
No, well, let's go around the room. Let's just.
And you, and you,
and you. Hey, Ken, back in the studio, you want to weigh in?
I just did the news, boy.
I knew it. So Mason checks the tape, and it somehow magically appeared during that commercial break. And when I come back, and it's bright as day. It's like shiny. And
Wait,
so,
shiny?
And he swore he didn't sneeze.
When's the last time you went to the doctor, Dan?
Yeah.
So anyway, it was there, and then I took my pen, and I sort of like, yep, that's a booger.
Everybody enjoying their meal at King's Bowl, by the way? Everybody having a good time? Yeah.
Listen, just so we're clear, Matt dragged me into this bit again.
Excuse me. Matt was the one that was unjustly accused of being responsible for the booger. And what was the coloration on the booger? Would you say?
It had like a whitish, grayish hue.
Really?
Yeah. You know what? You can look at the tape. It's right there. Go to YouTube. And what time was it, Joan? It's like in the 5:35 segment?
Yeah, because it was after the first segment. So, yeah, right about 5:30, 5:35.
Yeah. And Joan, what was your initial reaction to all of this? I'm very curious what your intimate thoughts were back in the newsroom. In the glass,
dust-encrusted news corner?
Well, right, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Boogers are nothing compared to all the dust I deal with.
Well, and the rodents.
And the rodents.
There are the rodents.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe the rodents left the booger on the microphone.
Oh, I tell you,
maybe it wasn't a booger then.
A lot of blame going around.
Right?
It just wasn't mine. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how it got there, but it was actually kind of funny. And then Murphy tells us where his boogers actually are.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was confident that it wasn't me because all of my boogers are underneath the desk.
So the first thing I'm going to do.
Is there video of you placing that? I mean, the camera's always on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Someone writes in on the super text line, wasn't Dan also responsible for the underwear in the stairwell? I don't know the reference.
This is true.
Underwear in the
fact check true.
Apparently Ken Weaver knows the reference.
It is such an old story that I've told 1,000 times. Nobody wants to hear that again.
I do.
It was before I got here, so yeah. Oh, he wants to hear it, and they want to hear it.
I mean, who wants to hear the underwear?
Underwear
Jeff
in the
wants to hear it. Underwear
Hands,
in the stairwell.
everyone? Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of applause.
And I thought we were friends. All right, so real quick. There was a morning where I was in the building and I was going up and down the stairs, and I noticed a pair of underwear that was right there on the stairs going up to the second floor. And it looked like a pair of my underwear. But I didn't.
What?
Ken.
They were like tidy whities, or?
No, they were not tidy whities.
Well,
all
they weren't
tidy
his then,
whities
right?
looked the same. They were a specific pair of underwear
Calvin
that
Klein.
I had.
I want to know what kind of underwear.
We got to paint the picture. Theater of the mind,
come
man.
on, Dan. What?
Okay, if you must know, they were green with leprechauns.
You had Lucky Charm underpants.
And so you thought they were yours.
I knew they were mine.
I have regrets. I now have regrets.
Yeah.
So I walked by it as I'm going up and down the stairs, and I left it there because I didn't. It's like, that can't be my underwear. And so then I go. It's still there when I come back
Green with
up.
leprechauns.
Yes.
Hey, were you surprised when you saw that nobody else picked up the random pair of underwear in the stairwell?
Just so we're clear, they were a gift, and so I had them, and they fit, and they're underwear, and I didn't think anybody was going to be seeing my underwear that particular day. So here's what we basically figured happened, is that I put my pants on right out of the dryer, and they were in my pants, and they fell out of the leg of my pants as I got to work. And then somebody picked them up and put them on the banister.
So that's what you told everybody?
If I had a dime for every time that happened to me.
Right.
All
Like,
I'm
really?
saying.
Honey,
All I'm saying.
I don't know what to tell you. Let me explain how my underwear got on the banister.
Well, that's what happened, man. I don't know. It was very embarrassing and very weird. I finally ultimately ended up grabbing the underwear because who else, could it have been?
I mean,
and then I threw it away.
Wait, you threw away the underwear?
Yes.
Why?
They were a gift, Dan.
They were yours.
Yeah.
Were you concerned that someone had soiled the underwear in your absence?
I was so okay.
You'd already determined it was laundry day, and they were clean.
I was so horrified that my underwear was sitting out for everyone to see that I grabbed them, and I didn't want anybody to see me walking around the hallways of work with a pair of underwear, so I threw them in the trash.
Well, it's not like you'd be putting them on your head. You just put them in your bag. Your man bag.
Can we go back to the booger?
You know it's going badly when you wish for the booger story. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I think Sally puts a capper on this conversation when she says, quote, "There was a booger that showed up on the microphone. Yes, and his name was Dan." Oh,
you know what?
Sally.
Oh.
You took it too far,
That
Sally.
was a nasty one.
That was a bad one, Sally.
Sally's always. It's Sally
She
mean
says
to you
it with
guys
love.
too,
Sally's
or is
a
it just
mean
me?
one.
Yeah.
She's a mean one.
Okay,
That's Sally.
she's a little cantankerous. That's Sally.
All right, we're late for Ken Weaver's newscast. He patiently awaits to deliver the headlines, and we'll be back in a moment from Cool Springs at Kings Bowl at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. A member of President Trump's cabinet rushed to the hospital today. Here's Kana Whitworth.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem taken to the hospital by ambulance. Her spokesperson saying she suffered an allergic reaction, adding that she was brought to the hospital out of an abundance of caution, that she is alert and recovering.
President Trump delaying a possible TikTok ban here in the U.S. for another 90 days, according to the White House. President Trump on Truth Social threatening the life of Iran's supreme leader. It reads, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Unconditional surrender." Meanwhile, Israel and Iran continue attacking each other. That's what Al Jazeera says it confirmed to be an Iranian missile strike near Israeli intelligence buildings near Tel Aviv. Right now in Middle Tennessee, a second arrest in the June 6th, the shooting in Spring Hill that sent a 1-year-old baby to the hospital. Police say they arrested 18-year-old Latavius Lee in Clarksville. Investigators say Lee and a 17-year-old who was arrested 4 days ago started shooting at each other during a drug deal. Several homes were struck by stray bullets, one of which struck the baby sleeping in one of the homes. Police say there could be more charges. And here in Nashville, Channel 4's Dryden Quigley on the kind of testimony during day 2 of Shaquille Taylor's competency hearing for the death of Jillian Ludwig, struck by a stray bullet while out for a jog in 2023.
It's been an emotional day because we have to see some graphic testimony, some videos of Jillian being shot, and understandably that was very difficult for everyone, including her family, to sit through.
Not long before Jillian was killed, Taylor had been set free after a doctor testified he was incompetent to stand trial for a separate shooting, but not incompetent enough to be sent to a mental health facility. So he was let go. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, in Antioch, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound at Harding Place. In Wilson County, looks like we got a crash 40 eastbound just past Linwood Road. In Madison, 65 southbound at exit 90AB. And in Smyrna, TDOT says there's a crash on the right shoulder, 24 westbound before Almaville Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Absolutely love watching a small business grow over the course of years and now decades. We've watched that happen with Eurofix. Friends, Aaron Stokes started Eurofix about 26 years ago in the backyard in a barn of his single-wide trailer. And now they have grown to 5 separate locations, and they serve thousands of cars every single month. Why and how? Because they do it the right way. You can trust that Eurofix will not try to upsell you on anything. They have a 15-minute no-wrench inspection, and they do people right at Eurofix. They don't do anything other than what they say they're going to do, and they fix your car for less money than the dealership does. And now they're in Mount Juliet, right across the street from the Dairy Queen. They can serve you in Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belle Meade, and now in MJ. It's pretty cool watching this small-town guy grow in to the big business that he has become. But never too big for you. They're never too big for their customers. Call 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or visit myeurofix.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Eurofix. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. I have been overrun by the other host on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and that's a good thing. We're in Cool Springs. We're at Kings Bowl, where it is it's a frog strangler outside, fellas, and Chad Benson is now in the house. He just went through it.
I tried to run between the drops.
We need a weather report, Mr. Benson.
You can't see more than about 10 yards in front of you. It is ferocious. There's some gnarly weather out there. And there's a few dry spots, but I tell you what, this is some of the worst rain I've seen, and it is heavy and thick.
So when I said earlier that you're all wet, it wasn't an insult. You were literally wet.
No, I'm still sopping wet.
It's Amanda's humor right there.
There he is.
That's why.
Oh, was that humor?
That's dad humor without the dad
Just
ending.
give us the alert, and we'll laugh at it. Just let us know.
Whatever.
No, we got your back.
Go on. Talk about the weather.
No. We're just don't let the weather dissuade you from coming out. Was my ultimate point.
Absolutely.
Because unto each life some rain must fall, and maybe just make an excuse of this and say, "Oh, I cannot possibly get home in all of this nasty weather. Why not go out to Kings Bowl and have a beverage and spend time with my radio friends?"
Have you seen the pizza?
I've smelled the pizza. I've seen the
been
pizza.
eyeballing it.
Do you know?
100%.
Do you know the last time we were here? Is Dave here? Because I want to make sure he hears this conversation.
Yeah, he's over there in the corner.
So the last time that I was here, I ordered something, and I waited for like 2 hours. It never came, and I finally left. So, and I don't blame Dave. I blame like the promotions people or something. So I'm hoping that it finally arrives tonight, like a year later.
What did you get?
It was a pepperoni pizza. That's all I wanted was a pepperoni pizza.
It's going to be so good.
Well, you know what? It's probably going to be worth the wait.
We'll comp you on that one.
Very good.
I don't blame Dave. I blame other random people that work for our company who aren't currently in the room.
That's exactly right.
Moving
like
right
along.
I think it's as good a time as any for us to kind of start the year in review. We're here till 7 o'clock. Let's make it happen. I think, should we start with the obvious or should we start with the not so obvious? Dan Mandis, do you know what the obvious is?
Well, the obvious is Iran.
Yeah, of course.
Or Iran.
Yeah.
We could go through the 15 different pronunciations.
If we're great, Iran so far away.
See, that was my thinking.
Iran so far away.
Iran so far. That's how I was pronouncing it. And
Three of the four of us get the reference. I'm not so sure about the fourth.
Was there a reference in there?
Yeah, flock of seagulls. Flock of seagulls, baby.
It's not very cool.
Yeah,
that's how old we are.
I know.
It was an 80s hair band that wasn't really about hair.
Do you know the flock? Do you know the?
I know.
Do you know the flock of seagulls guy has hair like mine?
Mike Score, yeah, he does. Former hairdresser. He's a nice guy. His brother lives out and around here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he works at like an engineering firm.
Does he really?
Wait a minute. Did you just say he has hair like yours?
Yeah, which is not.
Yeah. The guy
so he does not have hair.
Yeah.
He's bald.
That's the whole point.
Oh,
the whole point.
But you got a great beard going.
Well,
it looks sharp, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
It looks
Throw
good.
the salt, then sprinkle some sugar on top. That's
what
what I do.
do.
That's
what
how
you
Murphy
gotta
does.
do. That's what you got to do.
Is that what it is?
That's exactly right. I'll start. If we're grading, I think we're at an incomplete. On the issue of Iran.
Well, we're on the incomplete for a lot of things.
Sure. I think we can give better grades on certain things, border security or whatnot.
Yep.
But
are we grading each subject individually, or are we grading as a whole?
We could do it either way.
Okay.
We can do both.
Dealer's choice.
Right? Because you got to go, when you go to school, they're going to give you your GPA at the end of the year.
Yeah, and they're going to average all of that together. I'm going to choose to trust our guy until not. I think Israel has every right in the world to do their thing. I think we're going to support our allies as much as we can without involving ourselves militarily. That is my hope. And I think that's where Donald Trump is. He's made clear that he doesn't want to continue, Middle Eastern wars or any wars for that matter. But at the same time, he's been pretty steadfast that he doesn't believe that Iran needs to get a nuclear weapon. And if Israel can do our dirty work, great. The world's dirty work for that matter. I just want us to stay out of it. I think all of us agree on that.
Nobody wants to be in this thing.
No. And I'm fine with Israel doing their thing and helping them defensively, helping them with intel. I think that's normal. That's what you do for allies. The stuff that gives me pause is when you hear that they're having big meetings at Camp David and they're leaving Tulsi Gabbard out, and she's anti-war as they come. Mm-hmm. It makes me nervous about which advisors are in his ears right now, because what do you remember about the George Bush presidency? It's the Iraq War. That's the only thing that still stands the test of time, and I worry that this thing could derail the second
9/11.
term. Well, true, but in the aftermath. But
Yeah, I get you.
But I feel like this could derail his presidency, and we're only 160 days in.
Absolutely, because it could bog him down. And I go back. There's a great 2008. I think it's Bibi in front of Congress saying, once we get rid of Saddam Hussein, this is the best. Everything's going to be easy, and it's going to be simple from here, and it's going to be guaranteed.
Yep.
That didn't happen.
That was 2002, and he said that democracy will spread across Iraq and the Middle East.
And here we go again, and he's saying once we get rid of the Ayatollah, everything's going to be fine. And I feel like he's pulling a lot more strings, and Trump is trying to give him the help, but he's just going to go, I'm going to do as much as I possibly can, and that's my fear, because I think you've got Israel, you've got Bibi. And I think Bibi's doing a lot of Bibi stuff, and that may not be the best thing for Israel or for us.
I think we just let Israel do what Israel is going to do. We don't get involved. If they want or need a bunker buster, then knock themselves out. I
did give him a bunker buster. Bunker buster?
Yeah.
Bunker buster?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Bunker buster?
Well, you know what's funny? Trump came out today
I
and
just
said
like saying it.
It's not it's not big enough to go down to where they think they need to get to.
Trump said that?
Yeah, Trump said that the bunker busters probably won't get to where they need to.
Well, then maybe 2.
Well, here's the thing. Well, if it can't get down there and do the things that we think it does, then how do we stop them if they're really trying to do something?
Well, Netanyahu also said, we don't need the bunker buster. We have other ways to get down there. And my comment was, well, then do it.
Yeah.
What the hell are you waiting for?
One of their head guys today, just a little while ago, said, if you think the pager thing was really interesting, wait till Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
Awesome.
So,
well, and look, and I'll use the analogy again, and you guys tell me if it's misplaced, if it's overly simplistic. But for me, I think about, it's that schoolyard bully that picks and picks and picks on the kid, and finally the kid takes up for himself and pushes back. America's just there to make sure that nobody else gets in the fight. And I think our presence can ensure that, we hope. Now, the dramatic, caveat is if someone else does decide to engage in the fight, what does America do then? And then, it's
and then the ripple effect.
Are
we looking at BRICS versus NATO?
Right. So incomplete.
Yeah, incomplete for now. We got to see what Trump does. I think that Trump and Netanyahu, I think that they're kind of working together because Trump's ultimate goal is no nuclear bombs for Iran. Netanyahu's ultimate goal is to decimate their military, obviously no nuclear weapons, but he also wants regime change. My position is all you got to do is decimate their economy with sanctions, and you also have to allow Israel to decimate their military, decimate their ability to have a nuclear weapon. Then ultimately, you have destroyed their ability to fund terrorism. And then, okay, so does it matter who's in charge of Iran? Because you've completely decimated their ability to fund terror and attack Israel and the rest of the world.
Well, I think, as we have talked about, it has been clearly demonstrated that whatever level of nation building we attempt to engage in will be an abject failure in the Middle East.
Yes.
The Middle Eastern people, whether it's Afghanistan, Iraq, or whatnot, they are not ready mentally, psychologically, for self-governance.
No.
Nope. They're not, and I wish they were. I mean, I would love to have democracy over there, but it's not for us to insist that they have it when they don't want it. I would stay away from
to your point, they can't handle it.
They can't handle it.
You can wish and hope and want that they want democracy, but the ultimate, look what we've seen all across the world.
I wish I could remember who said it. I'd give them credit if I could. But, on the issue of Afghanistan, we tried for 20 years to convince those people that Afghanistan was a thing. Right? They don't consider Afghanistan a thing.
No.
Right? They are so tribal in their nature. Afghanistan is a Western construct to them. Yeah. They don't even look at it as their nation. They look at their tribes as their nations. And so, I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to do it.
If we're going to bankrupt them and the things that, we forget, their military is 1 million strong, basically. Yeah. They have tons of Bitcoin, which people aren't talking about, and they're using their energy for Bitcoin, which is scary. And do you think the BRICS nation are just going to let them starve? I don't think they're going to let them starve. And therein lies the problem is you need to be able to go to Russia and China and say, you guys need to be able to stop buying their oil. India, you buy more oil than anybody else. You can't buy it from them anymore. They're not going to do that. And therein lies the problem of what happens. And what happens if Pakistan jumps in?
Yep.
And Pakistan said that they would nuke Israel if any nukes flew.
Trump threaten sanctions on anybody who bought Venezuela's oil?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could take the same approach.
He could, but then you're going against some of our allies, like India, that we need against Pakistan as a just-in-case, and China, because we know they're not good friends. So it's this weird world of, and India's got to do what's right for India, and I think Bibi's going to do what's right for him. And regime change, man, we have tried it 70 times since World War II. We've been successful 5, and the rest have been,
yep.
So I love the way our audience thinks, whether they be here at Cool Springs, at Kings Bowl, or on the Super Text line where Gabe writes in and says, has anybody thought about this? You throw one bunker buster in, you create a hole. Second bunker buster goes in the same hole, much like Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, down the exhaust shaft, and then you blow the thing up. There you go.
A much more accurate description would be what happened in Maverick. where they actually did that. They knocked a hole in the ground, and then the second
one came in.
Yep.
Love that movie. Great movie, Dan.
Yeah, well, Chris, whenever I mention Maverick, he calls me, like a China lover or something. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they took the Taiwan patch off
because they
had to
cable-obsessed boomer.
Yeah, yep. They had to sell. Go beat your kids. They had to sell. They had to sell the movie in China.
Wow. Who apologized in Chinese?
Huh?
Who was the one? Who was the actor?
That was John Cena.
John Cena. That's right. He had to apologize.
Oh, jeez.
It's a big market.
Well, it's a big, you got to sell the sneakers. All right, it's 10 minutes until 6 o'clock. We'll take a short time out. There's Dan Mandis. There's Chad Benson. There's Chris Hand. My name's Matt Murphy. Look at y'all here at Kings Bowl. Thank you for being here. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Men of Valor is a wonderful ministry that I absolutely love telling you about from time to time. Men of Valor is an army of staff and volunteers that minister directly to the incarcerated by way of Bible study, discipleship group, chapel service concert, classes on manhood, one-on-one mentoring, and much, much more. Bottom line is this. We spend a lot of money in the state of Tennessee incarcerating individuals. Men of Valor helps lower the recidivism rate. In Tennessee, it's well over 50%, and they turn that into lower than 15%. That saves us money, plus it saves men's souls. They maintain close relationships with the graduates of Men of Valor through their alumni program, including monthly graduation, worshipship nights. Men of Valor is just a wonderful organization that I encourage you to be a part of. Give as you can, or volunteer if you will, to Men of Valor. Go to movministry.com. That's movministry.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Men of Valor. Defend Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm based right here in Middle Tennessee, and I absolutely love what these guys provide to business owners, to churchgoers, to people, decision makers in a school. If you are the person that makes a decision in a business or a school or a church, any place that people gather, listen up, because Defend Systems can literally save your life. Now, they're not here to scare you. The possibility of you being in a negative workplace situation like workplace violence, an active shooter situation, it's very, very low, obviously. But we see it happen on a daily basis out and about in the world. That means that the chances are not zero. Hope is not a plan, friends. You need to get trained with Defend Systems. They engage in active shooter response training, workplace violence prevention, site surveys, security consultation. They can train your staff for exactly what to do in the event of an emergency, rapid response medical training, all customized to your people and to your facility. Reach out today at 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or go to defendsystems.com. That's defendsystems.com.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem rushed to the hospital. And we've got something for you TikTokers from the White House coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Why, thank you, Ken Weaver. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, just a couple of minutes until 6 o'clock. Matt Murphy alongside Chris Hand, alongside Dan Mandis. More on Mandis in a moment. Chad Benson is here as well. As we
I just love the look. More on Mandis in a moment. Dan looks up like, what?
Oh, no, we got things to talk about with Dan Mandis over there. I mean, how's the pizza pie, Dan? You doing all right over there?
Well, it was a year, in the making, but this is actually some of the best pizza I've ever had.
Worth it.
Absolutely.
It smells delicious.
It was worth a year-long wait.
Good to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. So I would love to share with you guys, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, Dan looks up as if we can't order a pizza and says, "No, you don't get any or what?" I'm like, "What? I have a credit card. And
this is a
restaurant.
And
a menu. I don't. This
is a Wendy's."
just so we're clear, I learned from the best. Brian Wilson wouldn't share his steak with me that one time.
Yep, that kid rocks.
So now I'm
Dan is
I'm carrying on the tradition.
He's got some trauma that he's dealing with.
Selfish morning guys
Brian Wilson
won't share food.
You really wouldn't give me a piece of that?
I'd absolutely give you a piece.
See how easy that was? See how much of a sucker you are?
Well, listen, I love you guys.
No,
I'll absolutely give you.
It looks delicious. Now, you chose, do you normally engage, and I'm not judging. I'm just asking.
Sure.
You're judging.
Are you normally a knife and fork guy with the pizza, or is that because there's a crowd watching us?
Number one is because there's a crowd watching us. Two, when I'm shaking hands, I don't want to have pizza hands.
Mm-hmm.
No,
right?
Smart. Mm-hmm. Smart.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. See, Chad understands. He's a smart guy. He understands.
That's a very British way to eat a pizza.
A very British way to eat my pizza?
Yeah. And the first time I went over there,
He's really selling it, isn't he?
And you're
He
like
sure
this.
did.
They're all like that with the fork and stuff. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? It's not the way you eat a pizza.
It's Costanza with the Snickers bar. Is what you're doing.
What is that?
When he ate the Snickers bar with a fork and knife.
Knife and fork.
He said, "What do you do? You eat it with your hands?"
Well, I mean,
how does he know Seinfeld and you don't?
Right, that was pretty fascinating because he just pulled a WKRP in Cincinnati on you about Seinfeld,
right?
Which you somehow missed.
I must not have seen that episode.
You're missing out.
Did you see the one where he ate out of the trash?
No.
The eclair out of the trash?
No.
Costanza, you know the eclair out of the trash?
It was on the top.
It was on the top. It was on the top.
It was on the top.
It was not eating from the trash. It had just gone in there. It was right on the top.
And he had just crushed with like the girlfriend's wife and grandmother, and then she walked in and saw him eating from the trash.
I can actually see the moral dilemma there.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that episode up.
If you drop a cookie on the floor at your house, I'll ask the entire group, at your house, a delicious cookie drops on the floor, you pick it up and eat it?
We'll have to cover that after the news. That's a tease, Matt. That's a professional radio tease.
I'd 100% eat it. Oh, did I run the tease? I'm sorry.
Sure did.
100% I would eat that thing.
You would eat that cookie?
Oh, of course I would.
Okay,
I'd eat the hell out of that cookie.
I'm in on the. I'm in on the 5-second rule, and it's extended for the kids to 15.
When you got as many kids as you can't.
Yeah.
You can be wasting food like
No.
that. All right, one more hour to go. We'll get back into our mid-year analysis of how the Trump administration, the second term, has done in just a moment. From Kings Bowl in Cool Springs, it's Chad, it's Chris, it's Dan, it's Matt. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem rushed to the hospital by ambulance. Her spokesperson saying she suffered an allergic reaction, adding that she was brought to the hospital out of an abundance of caution and she is alert and recovering. And the White House says President Trump intends to push the TikTok deadline another 90 days. Attacks between Israel and Iran continuing overnight into today, marking a fifth day of strikes following the Friday attack. President Trump on social media posting about Iran's supreme leader. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump writes in a new social media post Tuesday afternoon that the U.S. knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding and adds, quote, he is an easy target but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now. The message coming after two U.S. officials told ABC News Sunday that the president rejected an Israeli plan in recent days to kill Ayatollah Khamenei. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told ABC Monday that Israel won't rule out an attempt to assassinate him. President Trump in his post Tuesday says the U.S. does not want to see missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers, adding, quote, our patience is wearing thin. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
A Republican lawmaker in the House drafting a bill to prevent the use of American forces against Iran.
The measure to block the use of U.S. forces in Iran is being introduced by Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie. It already has several prominent Democratic co-sponsors. The bill invokes the 1973 War Powers Act, which calls for the removal of U.S. forces from a conflict if both houses pass a concurrent resolution. But that law, which was enacted over a president's veto, has been the subject of interbranch debate over its constitutionality since it went on the books 5 decades ago.
Yeah, at least 24 people have been killed in Israel and at least 220 in Iran since Friday's attacks started. And right now in New York City,
for a judicial warrant?
That's New York City Comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander getting arrested by ICE today for allegedly hiding immigrants from possible detention after their court hearings. And right now in Nashville, it's day 2 of the competency hearing of the man accused of killing Belmont University student Jillian Ludwig with a stray bullet in 2023. Here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
Yesterday, we heard emotional testimony from family members and psychologists, all trying to answer whether Taylor can stand trial.
If you think about what a typical 18-month-old is able to do in terms of language is very little, and yet his deficits were so severe and so obvious that even relative to other 18-month-olds who don't have a command of language yet, it was obvious that Mr. Taylor was not developing at the same sort of pathway.
And Jillian's family has made it clear they want Taylor to be found competent so he can stand trial.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, got a lot of problems on 65. First in White House, 65 northbound, past exit 104. Highway Patrol reporting a crash. Police say there's a crash 65 northbound at the Hogan Road overpass in Creve Hall. And then the left lane is blocked by a crash 65 northbound at I-440. That's going to be exit 80 in Berry Hill. 24, we can't leave you out of this. Rutherford County, I-24 eastbound at Waldron Road. And then a crash, police reporting 24 eastbound at Harding Place. Also just past New Hope Road, exit 31 in Jolton. And then I-40, crash off-ramp partially blocked. I-40 eastbound off-ramp to Jefferson Street. 40 westbound between the Fairview-Dixon, Highway 96, exit 182, and I-840, exit 176. Back to 65, we got a crash reported in Madison, southbound at Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway. 24 in Laverne, we got a crash reported 24 westbound at Waldron Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, getting after it, final hour of the Matt Murphy Show. It's really a roundtable, a mid-year edition of an analysis of the Trump administration and what's been going on through the course of 2025, live from Cool Springs at Kings Bowl. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Yeah. The rain has not dissuaded the audience from coming out. We appreciate everybody stopping by. Dan's in the midst of his pizza that he's waited just a year for. He says it's the best pizza he's ever had.
Totally worth it.
Best pizza you've ever had.
Totally worth it. You guys got to come down and have the pizza.
I'm going all in.
Somebody got margarita pizza.
What?
Karen's got margarita pizza.
Oh, well, we need some of that in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. In the meantime, we're breaking down the news of the day and breaking down the year that has been 2025, specifically to politics and specifically to the Trump administration and what he's managed to do. Kind of a year in review here in Cool Springs on Super Talk 99.7 WT. And I'm joined by not only Dan Manders, but Chad Benson's at the table. Hello, Chad.
Hello there, my friend.
And then there's Chris Hand. Hello, Chris.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
And we thank all of y'all for joining us as well in person or on air, whether it's YouTube TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or on the radio. We appreciate each and every one of you. Come on out and see us. I'll be here after 7 o'clock. I know that.
Oh, I'm going to be rocking. We're staying
absolutely.
late night.
7:01. I'm out.
You're all dressed up, man.
Me and Murphy are going to shut this thing down.
You were all dressed up.
Yeah,
what time did you get here? Because I know you have a little anxiety for these things.
I got here right around 5.
Okay.
Right around 5.
I saw him in his car, 1:30.
So just so we're clear, Matt was first, then I came in. He called me beautiful. Then Chris Hand came in.
Who was the first host after Matt on the air, though?
It was Chris Hand.
That's because you were looking for your pizza.
You were dilly-dallying.
That's true.
That's exactly
right.
right.
He said, I'm going straight to the kitchen.
I went back to the kitchen.
He's either looking for his pizza, a booger, or his underpants. One of the three.
Oh, you lost your underpants, too?
Oh, can we just not?
Oh, you missed that.
Oh, did you miss the underpants
I missed the
conversation?
underpants
No,
they were lucky.
Everybody, who wants to hear the underpants
No.
conversation?
Underpants. No, I want to hear it.
Oh, we're seriously not doing that again. I'll tell you off the air.
I can't wait.
Go listen to the podcast.
My buddy had his underpants
Miss a
stolen.
moment, miss a lot of the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7.
On a train, on one of the.
Wait.
My buddy had his pants
Let's
stolen on a train.
not bury the lead. You said your buddy had his underpants stolen on a train?
That's what the homeless guy told him. Hey,
Okay,
you stole my underpants.
You just dodged a bullet. You don't have to tell your story anymore. You get to tell your story. What?
So it was Phoenix. They got the new trains because you know how
Phoenix.
Freddie
That
loves
checks
the
out.
train, right? Let me tell you what's coming. It was like the first day we send our guy down there. He calls us up because he's doing a live broadcast, and we're like, "Hey, what's going on, Joe? How's it going?" He goes, "Homeless guy just walked up to me and asked me if he could have his underpants back that I'm wearing, then wanted to fight me for them." Public transportation.
Nice.
That cost $20 billion.
So my underpants or lack of underpants story goes this way. I'm in Gulf Shores, Alabama, at Lambert's, home of the throwed rolls. I don't know if you know anything about Lambert's, home of the throwed rolls, but it's a place of business that they used to, if you asked for a roll, they would throw you a roll. They don't really do it anymore because somebody got hit in the head with a roll and sued them or whatever, but whatever. So I realized
nobody wants to have fun
I
anymore.
realized on the beach trip that I had not packed enough underwear. I was down one set of underwear. So I wore to Lambert's. I wore my swimming trunks.
As you do.
To Lambert's, as you would. Sans
With the
underwear.
mesh? Got
with
the mesh?
With the
That's
mesh.
fine.
With the mesh. Well, what I didn't know until we got there was that my swimming trunks had a huge rip in the back of them.
You didn't feel a breeze?
Well, that was the major question asked in the aftermath of the story was, did you not feel, because we're waiting on a table at Lambert's. I'm sitting outside, and what is that? What? I have no idea what's going on there.
What have you given me? Is this like an alcoholic thing?
That is an alcoholic beverage.
Is this like an alcoholic thing?
So,
nope, that's medicine.
No, that's water,
Thank you.
Dan. Just drink
Thank
it.
you.
It's just in a little cup.
Anyway, long story short, I'm leaning over a railing. We're waiting on a table. We got the little, it's back in the day where you still have the little buzzers, and you're waiting on the buzzer to go off.
Yep.
And one of our friends, Mary, leans over to Erica, unbeknownst to me, and says, I think your husband has a problem. Because she has seen it. And Erica's like, what? And she goes, just walk around and check it out. And Erica does, and then immediately stands right behind me.
Oh, no.
And we got to walk in tandem back to the car. We have to go back to the hotel room and get some drawers on.
You didn't just own it?
I wanted to, but you know how the wives are. They don't let you just own it when your butt's hanging in the wind. Well, some wives. I don't know. All right, so we covered Iran.
Wait a minute.
We're just going to transition.
Chris, do you not have an
Do you have an
underwear
underpants
story?
I don't have an underpants story. I don't.
You ever go commando?
I have.
Well, then there's a good story.
It's the younger generation.
I
They're
went
just
commando in
way
college.
too responsible with their underwear.
Gen X, not so much. This is why we drank out of hoses, rode our bikes everywhere, weren't afraid of anything, didn't wear underpants.
That's exactly right. All right, we should probably go on. Move on.
Let's move on to some. What are you having over there?
I don't know what this is, but it's really good. But
what does it smell like?
It's a rum thing, I think.
It's a rum thing.
Okay, sure. I mean, you're looking good over. You got the pizza, you got the rum.
Wait a minute. Am I allowed to drink on a
Oh,
remote?
sure.
Yeah, it's YouTube.
Yeah, whatever.
Anything goes.
No, that's fine.
And this is his remote.
Yeah, and you're not the host. I'm the host.
Yeah. You're not driving.
I mean, you're not the strike.
That's exactly what Chad said.
You're driving your car, but you're not driving the show.
Yeah, so with driving your car, drink away.
Thank you, whoever sent this to me, by the way. Thank you.
No, loyal
Thank you.
listeners over there sending Dan drinks because we know how Dan gets.
Yeah, you know what? The drunker I get, the worse my comedy gets.
Wait, it could get worse?
Illegal immigration. Let's talk about that.
Wait a minute. The other joke is you drink in the mornings on the morning show? Because it's pretty bad then, too. So, I mean, are we in agreement that so you reminded us, Chris, a minute ago during the break that we are less than a year from the Biden-Trump debate.
Yep, that was June 27th, 2024.
That was less than a year ago.
It is
friend.
absolutely insane how much has transpired since then.
I mean, consider just the fire hose of things that have happened during that year.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
the
crazy.
insanity that has happened. So, I mean, suffice it to say that Trump's gotten a lot of things done in that year. I would suggest that the easiest and the most complete thing that he has gotten done, border security.
Yep.
Demonstrating that everything that the Democrats told us, and they knew this, right? Everything that the Democrats told us during the 2024 campaign was a complete lie. Joe Biden said, if I only had more money, if the Republicans in Congress would only give me more resources, we'd do something about it.
We need a bipartisan bill with Senator Lankford. That's what we need.
Well, magically, you get a little enforcement on the southern border. You don't really need more money. You just use the money that you're getting, and we're seeing success on the southern border.
If you enforce the law, it is amazing what happens when the law is enforced.
And I believe the last number for this month was 0 border crossers illegally. Zero.
Was it literally zero?
Zero.
Well, because much like the aspect of self-deportation or
I think the same can be said for those that are attempting to come over, right? They get the message from back home.
Yep.
And if they are told from back home, hey, you just get there and say asylum in your country's language, in your language of origin, you'll be fine. Well, now they're being told there's no point in going. Don't take the trek because you're not going to be able to get
And
across.
speaking of the self-deportations, I know you probably saw the New York Post article where they said that we are now close to 1 million self-deportations since Trump started that initiative. So you have two operations going on side by side where you have the self-deportation and then the immigration enforcement, and he's doing a bang-up job, man.
What's amazing is the left said, oh, that'll never work. Clearly it's working.
Yeah.
And the headlines that I saw, there was some headlines that, said stunning, self-deportation numbers. So
shocking.
Yeah.
What could have caused this?
$1,000.
I'm interested in your comment on Donald Trump saying, hey, we're going to back off on farms. We're going to back off on certain aspects of our enforcement of illegal immigration. And now they've kind of reversed course on that a little bit because I think there was a pretty robust pushback on the part of the political right that said, wait a minute, hold on. We signed up for all of it, and we're ready for all of it. My take on it was and is that that's all well and good, and I'm here for the law to be followed, but recognize that over the course of a lot of decades, we've gotten ourselves in a situation where you might have some prices go up on some food.
Yep.
You might have some prices go up on some services, construction cost or whatever. But I think the majority of the American people are okay with that.
Within reason.
Within reason, sure. Is anybody else hearing that?
Yeah, did we get hit by lightning?
Kirby?
Man, we just had a wonderful event last weekend at Volunteer Outfitters celebrating Father's Day, and what a great time we had. I bought a lot of merch. I got some Southern Marsh. I got some Drake. I didn't get any Huck, but I would. I mean, they've got anything and everything for Dad. Not just Dad, but for the outdoorsman or the outdoors woman. It's golfing attire. It's fishing attire. It's people that enjoy the salt life. They get it done at Volunteer Outfitters. Open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 4. We invite you to head over to New Shackle Island Road in Hendersonville. When you stop by, say hello to Tommy and tell him Matt Murphy sent you. I also got a great hat, my brand new hat, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a hat aficionado. I don't have it on right now, but it says Big Duck Energy. That's what it's Big Duck Energy, and Volunteer Outfitters has the Big Duck Energy as well. Go by and see them. Tell them I said hello. They got great Tennessee volunteer gear and 30% off Bama gear. So you Bama fans out there, I know that there's like 3 or 4 of you. Hey, they got the Bama gear for you at Volunteer Outfitters as well. 615-431-0824 for any questions. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Volunteer Outfitters. Why, thank you, Ken Weaver. We'll get to that newscast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Right now, Matt Murphy, Chris Hand, Dan Mandis, Chad Benson, and the rest of the family, the Super Talk family's here at Kings Bowl in Cool Springs. You know, it's funny. You and I were talking a minute ago. Both of our significant others were like, oh, there's the No Kings rally over the weekend, and you're at Kings Bowl. How about that? You guys playing that? No, it was not playing.
Happy little accident.
It was just a happy accident.
Absolutely right.
It's a God thing. Mm-hmm. It's a God thing.
That's what it is. By the way, the thing that I love about these events is we get to meet people who we interact with on the super text line or on Twitter, for example, or X. I just met our buddy Tammy over there, who likes to say nice things and sometimes not so nice things. That's Tammy.
That's Tammy?
On X.
Tammie.
We love Tammy.
Tammy's
awesome.
a rock star on X.
It's exactly right.
If you're not following Tammy on X, you're doing it wrong.
That's
what I would say. That's what I would say.
Yep.
So, and no, it's wonderful to see everybody. That entire table is a group of the YouTube chat folks, which are insane. And Chris Hand exacerbates that insanity.
Oh,
and
we love it.
I don't know that I'm here for it.
I love the YouTube chat. It's unhinged, and it's my favorite part.
Yeah, you will be talking about something, and we think that we've got hot takes and great information, and they're talking about whatever it is, and they just have their own culture over there, and it's cool as long as they're tuning in and they're having fun.
Hey,
conservative veteran over there at the table just told me, she said, occasionally I try to say, hey, guys, they're still doing a radio show over here. They're doing a TV show over here, and the YouTube chat people want none of it.
No.
No, we're doing our own thing.
Yeah, what's funny is I'll pop in the morning, and I'll say hello, and nobody responds.
Oh, they
it's
always
like, hey, guys, I'm the host. Respond, say hello.
Do you pop in?
I pop in.
Do they say hey to you?
I hit him with a pop in.
They always say hey to
I always get the love back.
Matt Murphy's here.
Chris, we love you.
Maybe they're not up yet. I don't know.
Sometimes, they're in there, and I'll have to type in all caps.
I don't know what you're doing in the morning, but let me tell you something. You popped in one afternoon on the YouTube chat, and everybody was all in. They loved the fact that Mandis was just swimming through the YouTube chat along with the plebes.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, you got accused of, not accused, there was a suggestion that maybe some sangrias, or dangrias as it were,
in the hot
might
tub.
have been involved.
Dangrias in the hot tub.
Love it.
Yep.
Dude, are dangrias more powerful in the hot tub?
They are.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You think it's the heat? Heat of the hot tub?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You go hot, cold. You go pool, hot tub, pool, hot tub. Man, I
actually have done that.
You morning show folks sure do live fancy.
They do.
Really?
Can
we talk at midnight when I'm waking up and get downstairs into the cold, dreary basement to do show prep?
Dreary basement.
Cold, dreary basement.
Oh, we feel so sad for you. We were talking about immigration and the success that we've seen at the border. And we've seen continued success with the Trump administration over the deportations. Self-deportations, you mentioned, Chris, over 1 million self-deportations. And, what I love, and I will admit to you, that 10 years ago, before Donald Trump, as he was coming down the escalator, when you would talk about the immigration issue, we would say, we need to stop the flood. We need to stop the people from coming across the southern border. There's no way we're going to deport everybody that's already here. I feel like Donald Trump and his application of the law on this issue has really shifted the dynamic to what we truly can accomplish if we set our minds to it. We understand that there will be certain levels of consequence, but at the same time, I think people's mindset have shifted considerably on this issue.
Well, I think a number of things. Number one, you're absolutely right. Trump's application of the law, build the wall, those 3 words became so powerful in that first campaign. But the other thing that he has managed to do, whether we're talking about immigration or anything else related to Donald Trump, is he has managed to expose the left.
Yep.
And the thing with the left and Joe Biden and the border and, clearly he was not fit for office. And I think all of that goes back to Trump derangement syndrome, where whether it's the media, whether it's the Democrats, they just can't help themselves and they end up doing, really dumb stuff. I mean, I would ask the question, Chad, do you think that they accomplished anything with these No Kings rallies over the weekend?
No, they didn't accomplish anything.
It was like, to what end? Why are you out there?
Well, okay, that's great that you're protesting, and that's beautiful. That's the greatness of our country, and my kids and I were talking about this weekend. But you accomplished – what was your accomplishment? You don't like this guy, okay? Well, you didn't come out with any policies. Your only policies, all I ever hear is this guy's bad.
Yeah.
Well, eventually this guy's going to go away, and you're going to have somebody else, and it can't just always be this guy. You're not changing anything. Right. And as much as his numbers are falling, go look at Congress, and that includes even Republicans. Yep. It's so far in the turlet. Yeah. They're having serious troubles, and they're not being against him is not being for something.
Exactly. It all goes back to TDS, like you said. I mean, remember, just a couple months ago, we had Democrats actively cheering on the economy crashing, which would hurt their voters, too, just to prove a point that Orange Man's bad. It all goes back to TDS.
And what was the No Kings rally about? I mean, well, one, congratulations, great success. We currently don't have a king. And so I guess maybe that's an accomplishment for the No Kings.
We already had one of those rallies a long time ago.
My favorite,
I was about to say, I think it's kind of a continuation of what started in 1776.
The best No Kings rally happened in Toronto, Canada, because they actually do answer to a king.
Oh, that is so funny.
Right. And Donald Trump's troll of the No Kings rally was masterful. He's really, really good at it. It was like, I'd like to congratulate everyone. I thought there was going to be a king, but you stopped it. You still got your president. Me. Thank you. Congratulations. Absolutely got to love it.
It's just you've got to be for something, and there is no something. They have nothing of substance. They have no leadership. They have nothing of substance, and I sit there and I watch them continue to. I mean, they spent $20 million trying to figure out how to talk to guys.
I was on vacation when that story came down. I could not believe.
I thought it was the B.
And $20 million and was it million?
$20 million.
$20 million, and they got Tim Walz. So they need their money back.
Have you seen the graphs and the stuff that they're doing? They're people they're trying to reach out to, like other podcasters and all this kind of stuff. And you're again $20 million.
But the Democrats can't survive on a podcast because they can't do long form because you need authenticity to do long form, and you need to have deep thought to do long form. And all that they have is talking points that are handed down from above them, so they can't last in those formats.
I would actually like to see the program or whatever they did in How to Talk to Guys. Like, I'm genuinely curious as to what that program was.
I want to see whose uncle or cousin got paid $20 million to do a sham thing.
Yeah, that's
and how
exactly
can we get involved with that?
They're like,
the thing is, guys don't talk, right? Like, I go and I play golf with a guy buddy of mine. I mean, Chad Benson and I went and played golf together.
With Kirby.
And with Kirby. And I get home, and my wife says, what'd you guys talk about? Golf?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like what? I mean, what do you mean how to talk to guys?
Well, and it's like, how about just stop talking to guys in general? Because all you tell them is that working out is a sign of white supremacy, red meat is a sign of white supremacy.
Evil
patriarchy. You're going to the baseball game, it's Pride Night. You're going to the football game, hey, in the end of the end zone, it's going to say
toxic masculinity.
Racism.
Toxic masculinity.
Tell me how awful we are again. All right, we'll be called awful if we don't get to Ken Weaver and his news at 6:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Friends, picture this. If you're working remotely from your home and your power goes out, what do you do? Or if a storm comes through, like we just saw in Cool Springs, and your power goes out, what do you do? Perhaps you have a family member that needs power for oxygen use or for some other reason, and you don't have power. What do you do? Well, if you have a home generator system from Premier Generac Generators, you don't have to worry about it because you'll have power, no problem. Let the experts at Premier help you out. They know their craft inside and out. It's all they do. They do home generators, and that is it. They're not a fly-by-night company. It's not something that they do on the side. It is what they do at Premier. And they're offering you free consultation. If you've been waiting to see what the price points are or what the ins and outs, what the pros and the cons are, you need to call Premier Generators. I encourage you to do this. PremierGenerators.com to find out a little more about Premier. They are the #1 Generac generator dealer in the state of Tennessee, and they want to talk with you. 615-439-2992. 439-2992 for our friends at Premier Generators. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's about 20 minutes until 7 o'clock. Hello, everybody. We're at King's Bowl in Cool Springs. The gang is all here. Do not let the rain keep you away. Still time to get out here and say hello to us. Dan Mandis promises that he's going to finish his pizza before he leaves tonight.
He waited a year for it.
I mean, yeah, that pizza's been sitting in the freezer for some time now. I don't know if you're up or not. I don't know. Man, oh man, let's talk about Dan.
1 2 1 2. There we go. I'm back.
1 2 1 2.
Back, baby.
Check it 1 2. Anyway, so yeah, the pizza's great. By the way, it stopped raining, so you people not here, you have no excuse.
That's exactly right.
Tell them, Dan.
Come, you get on them, Dan. Those are for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, those are for you. They were brought earlier for me, and I said, well, I'm going to pass them along to Chad because I got the surgery on Monday, and I'll be out of golf for the next 6 months or so.
That's right.
Those are for
folks listening on the radio, they're golf balls.
Thank you, Dan. I apologize. Keep directing us from a programming standpoint.
I'm just trying to tell you, man.
I appreciate you. All right, so back on track. So we discussed immigration. We've talked about border. We've talked about deportations.
Iran.
And we've talked about Iran.
Look, if I'm going to grade Donald Trump poorly on anything, frankly, it's an ability, and I know that he's limited in this ability, but it's the ability to impress upon Congress the necessity to pass and, as we say, codify some of the executive orders that he's initiated and make them a part of the law. What in the hell is the Congress doing? And I want when my man went up to Congress a couple of weeks ago, I feel like he got some things done. He pushed the ball forward. I want to see more of that now.
Yeah, and what happened to the Doge rescission cuts? Wasn't there a $9 billion rescission package that was going to be voted on, and then that just kind of went away?
I think whatever we give Donald Trump, Congress gets an F.
Yeah,
they always get an F.
Would you give him an F, Chad?
They want no part of it. Anything that he does through executive order can be undone, as we've seen. And they can sit there and cheer it on, but they continue to want him to govern. They want him to govern through fiat by doing stuff so they don't have to make any decision that may haunt them in the midterms.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And so I'd like to see a little bit more of that. Any other thing that we can point to and say, I would have liked to have seen a little more of this in the first 6 months? It's only been 6 months of 4 years, 149 days of 1460.5 to be specific.
I have some reservations is where, originally Trump was going to, deport just the criminal, illegal aliens, the worst first. Then he was deporting other than. Then he said we're going to give the farmers and the hospitality a break. Then he goes back on that. So if there's anything that I think he needs to work on, it's consistency.
Clear path.
See, I found that kind of encouraging when he went back on that, because I think that he actually it proved once again that he is listening to his base. He is listening to the voters. He's listening to the conversation online, and he's very tuned in to what we're saying. So I was actually encouraged by that. I can see where you're coming from on the flip-flop. Yeah. But at least it's just another example of if we're loud enough, Trump will listen.
Yeah, I mean, he understands that his mandate is from the American people, not from Congress, not from Washington, D.C., but from the people of the United States of America.
But he needs Congress because otherwise his last 2 years will be hell if there's a midterm flip-flop.
Well, and, I don't know that – I mean, it's part of the reason where I'm frustrated that he's not impressed upon Congress the desire to get more done this year, because next year – at some point next year, we're just dealing with midterm elections.
But outside of Orange Man Bad, what do the Democrats have to campaign on currently, and what can they really point to win some seats? I don't think that they could point to the economy. I don't think that they could point to many things.
Well, we talked about the failures of the No Kings rally and, what are you rallying for? What are you for?
You're rallying against somebody. Right. You're not rallying for something.
I believe, and this is just my gut, I believe that they wanted – unrest. I think that the organizers of these political rallies wanted them to devolve into civil unrest in the major metropolitan areas because that's something they can campaign on. Oh, my goodness. Under the leadership of Donald Trump, cities are burning to the ground. That's not leadership. We need something better. We need a better track, a better course. And they didn't get it. They couldn't even get that.
Wasn't there a mayor that was just arrested today?
Yes.
And
mayor candidate.
Mayoral candidate.
In New York City.
Yeah.
So is this
the comptroller?
I mean, no.
That's what he is.
I haven't looked up. I had it. I looked it up on the Google machine. What does a comptroller do?
Numbers.
You know what a comptroller? Yeah, numbers.
Yeah, he's a numbers guy.
That's right. Just crunch numbers, accounting.
But here's the crazy thing, is that this is actually part of this comptroller. This is part of his campaign now. They all want to get arrested like Alex Padilla.
Oh, that guy. Did you see him on the floor today?
No.
He broke down in tears. It was a method acting like you could not believe.
Are you kidding me? Oh, that's going to be great.
Weeping.
Then they threw me to the ground. It was Daniel Day-Lewis. It was spectacular.
Oh yeah, that'll get them in. Put that clip up on the YouTubes, and that'll get them in.
Well, and it's so obvious what they're trying to do. I mean, for lack of doing anything legislatively or getting anything done, or trying to move any ideas forward, they want to get arrested, and
it raises their brand. That's all they care about.
And I think we're all agreed. What do they stand for, right? What does the political left stand for? We know what they're against.
Yep.
What do they stand for?
Nobody can tell you.
Right, and so it's why I've been begging Democrats to come on my radio show to tell me, okay, you are against the deportation of illegal aliens, so tell me, do you believe that we should have borders? And if you believe that we should have borders, should there be rules as to who comes into the country?
Right.
And if there should be rules, then what do you do with the people that break them? And they don't really have any answers for questions like
They
this.
stand for men in women's bathrooms. They stand for men playing on women's sports teams.
There is zero. I look over there. Only person that I see is Rahm Emanuel, who's even worth as far as like saying anything. Like we care about bathrooms. We don't care about the schoolroom. We care about these insane things that don't get us anywhere. And yet they push back against him big time.
I'm sorry, Chad. As you were making an incredible point, Joan Jones just walked up and started munching on Dan Mandis' pizza.
And the good news is she's not invading his personal space.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Dan, look how comfortable Dan looks right now.
So comfy.
How does she smell, Dan? Good. Dan says you smell great. I didn't want you to get out of here without telling you how wonderful it was to see you.
Oh, thank you.
You're so awesome.
It's nice to be out here tonight.
Yeah.
You know, we have some of the nicest people that turn out. Really, really, really
I've watched
great
you.
people.
You've worked the room.
I did.
You know.
Joan owes me a piece of pepperoni. Is my mic up? Joan owes me a piece of pepperoni.
She'll get it to you in a year.
That's the most.
She came in. She sat right down.
Serious that Dan has sounded.
She starts picking on my pizza, picking at my pizza.
If you didn't want me to take your pizza, you wouldn't have had me sit right in front of it.
Yeah, good point.
Right?
Good point. Joan's very logical.
Joan owes me a piece of pepperoni. Where's my pepperoni?
Listen, my
Joan?
pepperoni is sacred, okay?
It's a little personal.
Moving right along.
I know it's kind of late, but
You're going this way? There you go.
Yeah, we got to get you on. Apparently,
Keep going. Sit on his lap. Sit on his lap. Sit on his lap.
I'm going over right in the court.
I'm just going to hug him.
Joan, any thoughts about the first half of 2025 from a political perspective from you?
First of all, from the news perspective, I have never, I've been working news a long time. I have never been in a period where you almost can't handle all the information coming at you. It's the fire hose effect. Just amazing. It's overwhelming sometimes. And in this climate, this news climate, it's hard to find the sources that are telling you the truth for us to relate to people. So, and that's all the effect of Donald Trump on the news media. 100%. Because he upended the news media like I've never seen before.
Hey, Joan, who do you think is the biggest loser, Democrats or the news media over the last 10 years?
That's a good question.
Honestly, I'd say the news media because the Democrats are still there. They may be floundering, but they're still there. But the news media is fragmented to the point where it's like you can get your news anywhere. And this was a podcast, new media election that really helped Trump out. And the news media didn't.
They've lost all credibility, and they don't know what to do now.
No.
Where do you guys?
Right.
Where do you guys get your breaking news?
So I know Ken does the same thing. I have set up on my phone the news notifications. So if something breaks on Fox News, I'll get a notification. So everybody sends their notifications all at once. So that's when we know that something is broken. Just like when just a little while ago, Kristi Noem was taken to the hospital. And turns out she had an allergic reaction to something.
Wasn't it Alex Padilla? Was that it?
Yeah. He causes quite a reaction, doesn't he? So that's generally where you get it.
Where do you guys get it?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter all day. That's the main goal.
I'm on the X machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the X machine brings me because all of the sources that hate it so much, they still serve that master.
Yes.
And all of them are there. And it seems to me to come to me more quickly and more concisely.
I was talking to Ken Weaver the other day. He said he's starting to get a lot more of his news clips off of Twitter because it's faster than the news services are.
And they cut it up for you.
Yeah.
Which is always a nice thing.
It is a nice thing.
For a host, it's a wonderful cheat that if I need a sound bite, and I just go and I type in something in the rather in the Twitter bar, and boom.
That's the other thing to point out. It's become such a powerful search engine, too, because everything is forever. So you can go back years and years and find certain pieces of audio just by typing in some keywords.
Dan introduced me to Grok, and now I'm addicted.
Yeah.
Like, completely addicted. You can ask it anything and get a halfway decent answer.
Grok's a buddy of yours?
Sure is.
And you know what's good about that, too? Ken and I were talking about it. He'll go to ChatGPT, Grok, and a few others, and it'll give you all the sources.
Yes.
Then you have to piece it together.
Yes.
It's like, well, you left out this, and you left out this, and now we got to put the whole thing together.
How much do you guys use Instagram?
I use it.
Yeah.
I don't use it as a news source.
As a source,
It's
no.
more of a source of entertainment.
Yeah.
No, my
because I gave away the TikTok.
Death scrolling.
My Instagram algorithm is more birds aren't real and less news.
Love it.
See what the first thing that pulls up on the Instagram. By the way, as we speak, oh no, yeah, there you go. Friends in Low Place is some sort of Nashville thing. Yeah, that's on Instagram. By the way, as we speak, a little bit of breaking news: the city of Nashville, as expected, Davidson County, voting on property tax increase tonight.
Tonight.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, it's on the agenda. I have a bird in the room that tells me that they are planning on voting on Mayor Freddie O'Connell's budget proposal, which would institute a 27% tax increase for Davidson County.
He's pretty popular, and I think that this will only help that skyrocket.
Sure. Yeah.
People like that guy.
A squirrel in human form.
You know what
Freddie
the funny?
O'Connell.
The only thing is, though, Chris, you say that, and I know that you're kidding. The Democrats love him.
They do.
They do.
That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
The Democrats love him. They literally don't care about the property taxes.
Believe it or not, I think what happened with ICE, what happened with the THP, hurt him with Democrats in Davidson County.
They didn't think he was strong enough.
They didn't think he was
against
strong enough against him.
Oh.
They wanted Freddie O'Connell to Alex Padilla the thing. They wanted Freddie O'Connell to get arrested.
To get arrested.
They
That's
wanted
exactly
him to
what
get
I was
arrested.
gonna say. They
And
wanted him to get
I think it
arrested.
actually hurts them. And I was of the position because they're going to have to shrink the council from 40 to 20. Based on the Tennessee General Assembly, saying that you have to cap your city councils at 20. By the way, for those that don't know, Davidson County has the third largest city council in the United States of America.
Whoa.
That's insane.
There's number one is New York. Number two is Chicago, and number three is Nashville, Tennessee. And
Makes no
Davidson County.
sense.
Makes zero sense.
Everybody gets their own council.
It's a 1-to-1 ratio. Somehow they make that work. But so I was in favor of it because I'm like, well, this will soften the edges.
Yes.
And I'm not so sure anymore. I think Davidson County might be at a breaking point where instead of having 40 with some soft moderates, squishy moderates, and a few conservatives, you're just going to have more extremes.
Yeah.
I mean, with this kind of leadership in Nashville, how long before it's Memphis?
I think it has the benefit of tourism, and Memphis did too. But I've noticed, and I don't go down very often, but I noticed I got here in 21, and from 21 till today, the hard edge on Lower Broadway, it is not neon country music Disneyland anymore.
I don't want to bring my kids.
No, because if you go down, and it's not just a Friday or Saturday night. If you go down tonight, starting from the top of the hill, you're going down, you'll smell dope all the way down to the river.
Yep.
And a lot of families don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. On Fridays, when I leave on Fridays, and I leave the studios 10:30, the pedal taverns are already out. People are already completely drunk.
Woo girls.
Yeah, the woo girls. Woo. By 10:30 in the morning. And,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
The woo dans. Woo! Woo! What? Are you getting a little flashy flash?
Yeah, woof.
You getting a little something?
No, that's what they do.
Do they? They don't do that to me.
They didn't do it to me either.
Well, you're not Dan. You don't flash them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't question it.
All right.
I just do whatever.
You just give them a nod and keep walking.
Roll with the flow.
It falls in his lap.
You when they give you the flash, you give them the old double guns, Dan?
Sure, just one of those.
Give them the old,
little Shooter McGavin, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Moving on.
Speaking of moving on, we got to do the Joan.
Yes.
Love you long time.
Mwah.
Mwah
Thank
to you.
She's the best.
We don't get to see enough of you and you.
And I know.
So it's nice to,
and
you know.
probably a little too much of him, maybe. Oh,
whatever.
That was a moment of
Whatever.
tenderness between Dan and Joan. You don't get that very often on Nashville's Morning News. I know Jackson's telling me that we have to go to a timeout. It's 54 after the hour.
Oh.
We'll be back, wrap things up in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right.
Guys, when it comes to large home repairs, a lot of times homeowners want to pretend that we don't see the warning signs. We're afraid of what we're going to hear. Well, that is a disaster in the making. Folks, USS, they are your waterproofing experts, your foundation repair experts, and they're right here in Middle Tennessee and have been here for a long time. You don't do anything for 31 years if you're not doing it the right way, and they do it the right way at USS. They like to say they guarantee their best. They also have almost 30,000 customer testimonials, residential customers that have given their thumbs up and their seal of approval on USS. So if you've noticed any of the warning signs, maybe it's cracking in the mortar joints, maybe it's mold or mildewy smells, maybe it's doors sticking, windows sticking. These are all signs that your home is settling in an unnatural fashion. You don't need this. You need USS. Go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com or call 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for the best USS.